everybody. Man, we are so late. Sorry about that. Yeah. I can't even talk right now. But, we're back. It's good to be back. You can't even talk right now. That is the worst time possible to do a commentary show. We'll just play this and see what happens. So this is day 24 of Jodi Arias' trial. Green shirt day. And I was watching it this morning. I think it's a good day.
Please stand for the jury.
I need you to just slow down a little bit.
Counsel, approach again, please, for a moment.
Oh, look now, the sidebars in this trial. Look at her, looking at the jury. Innocent. I am innocent. You must vote innocent.
Please be seated. The record will show the presence of the jury. The defendant and all counsel, Mr. Martinez, you may continue with cross-examination.
Ma'am, yesterday you told us that after your experience or your time in Arinburg with Mr. Alexander that you felt like a prostitute, right?
Yes.
But you've made other statements with regard to your experiences in Arinburg, haven't you?
Yes.
Let's take a look at an exhibit, which is exhibit number, get that from the clerk.
Oh, look, he's going to show a video of one of her interviews that we couldn't find the original video. I mean, check this out. She is crazed. I mean, she's talking about the most mundane things about Arinburg, about where it is, right? I think she's going to go into that story about how when Travis saw a woman with like will work for food. So we're going to turn the mic up. Fuck. Hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. Well, is that up? It's because you're fucking, it's because of the WhatsApp calls. That fucks it up. Okay, so, oh man, you motherfucking. Yeah, Travis, he got the homeless woman a fucking cheeseburger or something, but the way Jodi talks about it is incredible, man. Okay, how's the fucking microphone? Hey, note to everybody, don't fucking call me on WhatsApp. Ugh.
is Exhibit 490, which comes from your an excerpt from your conversation on May 10th of 2008 with Mr. Alexander. Let's listen to it and see if that's your voice, and then we'll move it in.
Let's see if that's your voice. It would be so funny if one day in a trial it wasn't. Like if he said, let's see if it's your voice, and then he put the tape in and it was someone like with a really thick Scottish accent. That never happens.
And it goes away quickly. The body absorbs it. Okay, well, you just keep spreading it on as you need it, and you keep slip sliding around. Remember the first time that you and I grinded at Arinburg, and we both, like, I ended up just coming, and you're like, whoa, I came. You came at the same time. I looked around, and there's just jizz, like, all over. It was so hot. We came together. That was so cool. Yeah. Think about that when you drive through there.
Even re-listening to something like that privately to yourself would be humiliating as fuck. Like, oh my God, did I really ever say that? Oh, I hate my life.
Oh yeah, always.
So do I.
Ma'am, that's your voice on there, right?
Yes.
And that's you and Mr. Alexander discussing what may have happened in Arinburg, correct?
Yes. What did happen?
Pardon?
What did happen?
What happened in Arinburg then, right?
Yes.
And you were talking in very fond tone.
Yeah, we were discussing what did happen. It's omission. Admission. I'm making an admission.
About that experience in this clip that we just played, weren't you?
Yes.
And it was because it was fun, right?
Yes.
And it was something that you enjoyed, right?
Yes.
So when you tell us that you felt like a problem,
Listen to those angel tones, Jodi. Who could call this a killer? Yes. Yes. Yes.
prostitute, it really does, it seems to be contradicted by what's on Exhibit 490, right?
Not if you understand why I said that.
Well, you do you do say that you...
We understand perfectly, Jodi. It's all part of your Black Widow trap.
You enjoy the visit to Arinburg, correct?
Yes.
You do enjoy the sex in Arinburg, correct?
Yes.
I move for the admission of Exhibit 490.
Objection.
490 is admitted.
Okay, we got to increase the mic. Okay, what about, 300? You better remind me to turn this down before the next show. Do you remember when this happened last time? And then by the next show, we just, deafened everybody. Okay. So, how's that? Is that better? What was that? There was a whoosh. Was that a coffee? I don't even know if that was a coffee. Yeah, who wants the, do we need more volume? Yeah. I don't really want to shout, so if we need volume, let me know. Because it's 3:30 in the morning. It is good now, the sound. Okay. I love the structure of the sentence. It is good now, the sound. Yeah. There's no need for punctuation here. We're all good. We're all good. There's no need for volume or punctuation ever again. In anything, you know. It'll be like that book by, who was it by? Not Will Self. You know, that book, A Million Little Pieces. It's funny, it feels like my life right now. James Frey, that was his name.
And we also had another conversation involving Arinburg with people from 48 Hours, right?
Yes.
Let me have that marked as an exhibit. I move for the admission of exhibit 491.
No additional objection, Your Honor.
491 is admitted.
It was coffees from our good friend, Amy. Thank you for the coffees, Amy. Yeah. Thank you.
Just tell me more about him. Like, what?
Okay, look at her. Look at her. Why has the casting director, which may have been Jodi herself, I mean, she was running the scenes. Don't roll tape. Don't roll tape. Can you hold this? Can somebody get me a Red Bull? Who can get me a Red Bull right now? Yeah, the casting director, the lighting director, has just put her in this dark, ominous window. I mean, I suppose that it's roughly supposed to look like a jail. Oh no, they are in a jail, obviously. But you know, it doesn't need to look like a jail from the 12th century medieval England. You know, it looks like she's about to be beheaded.
What was it that was special about him?
He really was an amazing person to know. He was
Amazing pedo.
generous, one of the most generous people that I've ever encountered. There was one point where we were in Arinburg. I think that's Arizona. It's right on the border of Arizona or California. It's Arinburg. And we were driving up. We were hitting the freeway to go to a movie theater. And we stopped at the stop sign to get onto the freeway, and there was a lady there holding a sign. I don't remember if it said, "We'll work for food," or "Hungry," or "God bless," or something like that. But either way, he pulled over. We were in his BMW, rolled down the window, and he said, "Are you hungry?" And she said, "Yeah." And so with that, he turns around and we go to Wendy's, and we get the triple-decker that Wendy's sells, and the biggie fries and the biggest drink that you could get. And we drove back and gave it to her, and she was really grateful. And she just went over and sat down away from the freeway and started eating and had dinner that night. So just little examples like that. That's just one of so many that people could tell you about his generosity. So there were so many attractive qualities about him.
I gotta watch this again. I've never seen anything quite like this. But if you showed this to a doctor, he would have her committed. I mean, what the hell is she doing? Ah, it's scary.
Just tell me more about him. Like, what it was that was special about him?
He really was an amazing person to know. He was generous, one of the most generous people that I've ever encountered. There was one point where we were in Arinburg. I think that's Arizona. It's right on the border of Arizona or California. It's Arinburg. And we were driving up. We were hitting the freeway to go to a movie theater. And we stopped at the stop sign to get onto the freeway, and there was a lady there holding a sign. I don't remember if it said, "We'll work for food," or "Hungry," or "God bless," or something like that. But either way, he pulled over. We were in his BMW, rolled down the window, and he said, "Are you hungry?" And she said, "Yeah." And so with that, he turns around and we go to Wendy's, and we get the triple decker that Wendy's sells, and the biggie fries and the biggest drink that you could get. And we drove back and gave it to her, and she was really grateful. And she just went over and sat down away from the freeway and started eating and had dinner that night. So just little examples like that. That's just one of so many that people could tell you about his generosity. So there were so many attractive qualities about him. He was very kind. When I moved to Mesa originally, I downsized from a house to a room. And I didn't have a place to put my art. I didn't have a place to put my books and some of the things that were really precious to me. So he allowed me to use, he had so much storage available in his home, so he allowed me to use a lot of that storage to put things in his home, in his garage, or in his closet, in his office, and things like that.
Yeah, I bet he loved that. Hey, can I store all my art in your office and living room and kitchen? Yeah, come on right in. Come on right in, and then help yourself to a Wendy's triple decker and a biggie fries and the fuck. Travis is just there handing out burgers in his own kitchen. With the full 1950s I work in fast food uniform, little paper hat that makes him look like an airman, but an airman of French fries. So why is... there we go. No. I see. Our coffee alerts. I need to copy that. But that was another whoosh sound from our good friend, the bird of pies. Thank you, Pie Bird, for the coffees on buymeacoffee.com/TrueCrimeMetrix.
So and it wasn't even a question. He was just like, put it at my house. It wasn't like he was doing me this big favor. It was just like, of course, why think twice about it.
Yeah. Well, when there's a blowjob on the table, put your art in the kitchen. No problem.
So he never was showy about how generous he was. It just was like second nature to him.
Man, when you first described this visit to Arinburg, you told us something that was a little bit different than what we heard right now, right?
Yes, according to the questions I was asked.
Well, yes or no?
Yes.
And you told us about going to Sizzler, right?
Yes.
You told us about him grabbing your rear end, right?
Yes.
You told us about the sexual encounters, right?
Yes.
You told us that really wasn't a romantic weekend at all.
No, it wasn't.
And in fact, the indication from you, from the witness stand, was that this was a pretty bad weekend all the way around, wasn't it?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, your indication was that all he wanted was sex, right?
It seemed that way.
Well, if it seemed that way, that was your belief, right?
Not at the time, but in retrospect, yes.
So, as you said here today, it looked like, or not looked like, all he...
I'd love to start answering questions like this just in my daily life, you know. You know, like I'll go to the cafe here, right? And the waitress will be like, "So, do you want a cup of coffee?" And I'll be like, "It seems so at this time." And she'll be like, "Well, do you want a double or a single shot?" And I'll be like, you know, what else could you do? That is my belief. You know, it's just like, just do it all the time with everything and see how long it takes for someone to beat you up.
All he wanted was sex, right?
Mostly.
Well,
Not
is
all,
it
but
yes or
mostly.
no?
Mostly.
And when you got there, according to you, that's the...
Do you want sugar in the coffee? Mostly. Mostly, yes. Mostly sugar in the coffee.
first thing that happened, right?
Yes.
And then you guys sat around at some point and started to look at TV or watch TV, correct?
Yes.
And at some point you went out to dinner, right?
Yes.
And at another point you went to the movies, right?
Yes.
And you indicated that, well, to you, that was, the way you said it, it wasn't a very romantic weekend, right?
Not overly romantic. In fact, there wasn't really any romance that
Ma'am,
weekend.
I'm not asking you to embellish right now. I'm asking you whether or not you told us before that it was not...
This relationship sounds like the most basic, you know, first teenage relationship that there is. They went to the movies and they did some stuff from, you know, 1,000 places to see before you die, which for some reason 95% of them all appear to be in the Southwest. You know, I think they were in Niagara Falls, but everything else is in the Southwest. I mean, there are other places in the world. You know, if it was called 1,000 places in the Southwest to see before you die, that might be a better title. You know, I think every single one of them was in America, and 95% of them were in the Southwest. You know, and sure, okay, there's the Grand Canyon. Great. And then some of those big orange rocks. The Balloon Festival. Okay, you know. There are other things.
a romantic weekend. That's what you said on direct, correct?
Yes.
And you didn't tell us about this circumstance where he stopped and he gave this woman this burger from Wendy's either, did you?
No.
It appears that there are two sides to what went on in Arinburg, doesn't it?
No.
Well, it appears that there's the side that we just heard from where you enjoyed.
Deb H. asks, what did she want for romance? Roses and diamonds? What did Jodi really, really want? I'd say, you know, public commitment, public show of commitment. You know, if Travis had done some big proposal in front of all their mom and friends, you know, from a hot air balloon, or I think it'd be good to be in a hot air balloon by yourself, and then as you're floating away and your would-be fiance is still on the ground, you shout back, "Will you marry me?" And then just drift away. No one's ever done that in the history of proposals. I think it's a good idea. No, if I think that Jodi would have really liked a public proposal, commitment, acknowledgement, acceptance, and, you know, to be Travis's wife. That would probably be all that it would have taken, you know. I think she may have been quite willing to compromise a lot, you know, for that. But that was the one thing she couldn't get. And of course, a trip to Cancun wouldn't have hurt either, right, Jodi?
With the sex, right?
Yes.
Aside where you and he were driving around, correct?
Yes.
And he helped some homeless person, right?
I think she was homeless.
Well, it's somebody that was standing there at the side of the road, right?
Yes.
And with some sort of sign. And it looks like this is based on what we heard from the...
It was a very short relationship, even if, you know, I don't think Travis ever thought about it as a relationship. At most, it was, we're going to try this out and see how it goes, you know. But it was a matter of what? 4 to 5 months, I think, is the time that Jodi claims that they were exclusive and, you know, we are together sort of thing. So just nothing that should still be honeymoon phase. I mean, I think most narcissistic psychopaths wait until about 18 months in before they drop the mask. Right?
previous excerpt, it looks like you were sort of reminiscing back on May 10th of 2008, reminiscing in a very positive fashion, right?
May 10th, 2000. Oh, yes, I was.
That's the phone call that we just listened to prior to this.
Yes,
And it looked like you were reminiscing in a very positive fashion, right?
yes.
Not the same picture that you presented previously with regard to the Arinburg meeting, correct?
I was asked about a different time frame.
Ma'am.
So then that would be correct.
So the answer is that is correct,
Yes.
right? One of the other things that was presented in this case was that it appeared that Mr. Alexander, from what you presented, was an individual that was totally into sex, correct?
Yes.
And that's when he was with you, correct?
Me and other girls.
Well, had you ever been in a bedroom with him and another girl,
Yes.
and the three of you had sex?
No.
So when you say that he had sex with other women, you really don't know if that's true or not, do you?
If he was telling me the truth, then it's true.
Well, ma'am, I'm not asking you what he told you.
Again, back to my cafe idea. So the waitress finally gets, so you want a black coffee, no sugar. And I say, if I'm telling you the truth, then that's true. I'm definitely trying this tomorrow. Of course, I'm going to have to do the whole thing in Portuguese. I think I can handle that much.
I'm asking from your personal experience in terms of the situations that you know about. You don't really know of any other circumstances where he had sex with anybody else, right?
I do know.
And you're talking because you were there and you were watching his penis go inside them. Is that what you're saying?
No.
You're just telling us that because of some conversations that you may have had with somebody else, correct?
Him.
I think it's amazing that Jodi is finding a way to enjoy this time. I mean, you know, what a character, what a game face she has on. She's got probably one of the country's toughest prosecutors ripping her to shreds. You know, going through ridiculously, private details, salacious materials, and what have you. And, she's still having fun. Amazing.
Other people, right?
Just one person.
And as we know, people don't lie, do they?
That's not necessarily.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Derek, and welcome back, Derek. Let's see. Gotta put up this volume. So 350. Testing. I think that should be good, Derek. I mean, feel free to be picky, Derek. I really value the opinion. But we just went up from 300% boost to 350% boost.
True.
Well, no, people don't lie. That's what you're telling us right now, because you're saying that somebody told me, then it must be true.
I said if.
Ma'am, you're saying that it's based on what somebody told you, right?
Based on what Travis told me, yes.
And people have a tendency to embellish things sometimes, don't they?
Yes.
Just like you in this case, correct?
Not on the stand, but in this case, yes.
Haven't you lied from the very start of this case until, according to you, you got on the witness stand?
No.
Well, you're saying that you're not lying here, that what you're telling us is the truth, right?
Yes.
But you are telling us that when you spoke with the detective, that wasn't true, correct? Whatever it is that you told him.
Well, some things were not true. Most things.
Most things were true? Is that what you're saying?
Some things were not true.
Did you lie to the detective, yes or no?
Yes.
And did you lie to him on 2 occasions?
More than 2, yes.
Well, I'm talking about 2 dates. Did you lie to him on 2 dates? And did you also lie to 48 hours?
Yes.
Did you lie to people in Utah?
Yes.
Did you lie to Daniel Freeman?
Yes, everyone.
Right, so you lied to a lot of people, but you're saying that just because you are sitting here in this courtroom, there has been, for lack of a better term, a conversion, and you're now telling the truth, right?
For lack of a better term, yes.
And the same thing with regard to whatever Mr. Alexander tells you, everything that he says, you believe, right?
Not necessarily.
Well, but you do believe the part about the sexual encounters, right?
Yes.
Did you ever talk to the women that were involved to confirm it?
No.
So you don't have any confirmation from these women as to whether or not it happened, right?
No.
And it appears, however, though, that this sexual interest that he had was directed towards you, wasn't it?
Some of it.
No, most of it. Or all of it. Wasn't it directed towards you?
Not all of it. Some of it. Most of it. I don't know. Maybe during the time we were together, most of it. I don't know.
Well, let's take a look at it and see what was said during May 10th of 2008 about that. And I'll ask you after I play it to see whether or not that is your voice and whether it is part of the previous clip that we played.
We ask that it be moved to be admitted before it's published.
Then I'll move for the admission we did at 492.
No objection.
492 is admitted.
Yeah, you are right, though, that in the bath. Oh, God, hot.
Oh, when we took a bath together?
Uh-huh.
That was surreal. as honesty. And I think, I mean, maybe the candlelight and the bubbles all had something to do with it, but you were amazing. You made me, seriously, you made me feel like a goddess. Like, I wasn't saying you were like worshiping me, but you made me feel like I was the most freaking beautiful woman on the whole planet. Like, I so felt like I was the goddess. And so, aside from all those warm, fuzzy feelings, but like, it was so sexy, and it was so hot, and oh, gosh.
Well, that wasn't hard to make you feel that way because you were freaking, you were hot. You are serious, honey. I don't want to question you right now for that. You're touching yourself.
I am already.
I just started.
I wish those were my hands giving you a hand job.
Honey, so, you know, like, before I met you, I never jacked off. But once I started meeting, I don't know, once a month, once every 2 weeks. Like, since you've left, I jack off every day, sometimes 2-3 times a day.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, it's always just a fucking
Oh, please, love me right now. I wish you were here. If you were here, my grandparents were asleep, I'd let you right into my bedroom. We'd shut and lock the door, and we would just have a big fuck fest. We'd go at it all night.
That is your voice, right?
Yes.
And that's him telling you that in terms of his sexual activity, masturbation specifically, he didn't masturbate before he met you, right?
No, he didn't say that. He said he hardly ever did.
Well, ma'am, perhaps we should listen to it again so we can hear it. And you're saying that he's not saying, I don't know. Before I met you, I never jacked off. I want you to take a listen to that.
Yeah, you are right, that into that. Oh,
Oh, when we took a bath together? That was surreal, as honesty. And I think, I mean, maybe the candlelight and the bubbles all had something to do with it, but you were amazing. You made me, seriously, you made me feel like a goddess. Like, I wasn't saying you were like worshiping me, but you made me feel like I was the most freaking beautiful woman on the whole planet. Like, I so felt like I was the goddess. And so, aside from all those warm, fuzzy feelings, but like, it was so sexy, and it was so hot, and oh, gosh.
Well, that wasn't hard to make you feel that way because you were freaking, you were hot. You are serious, honey. I don't want to question you right now for that because you're touching yourself.
I am already.
I just started.
I wish those were my hands.
So I suppose this is technically allowed in the Mormon faith? Or is he going to have to confess this to the bishop? Bishop, I was flogging the bishop again. Yeah, I know.
It's giving you a hand job.
Honey, so, you know, like, before I met you, I never jacked off.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
He said, honey, before I met you, I never jacked.
Look at the family.
Honey, so, you know.
I mean, God, you know, what a thing. What a, you know, not only do you have to deal with the fact that your beloved brother was brutally cut down in his prime, but then, not only do you have to look at his ridiculously horrific autopsy, late-stage decomposition photographs, you're going to have to listen to him talking about jerking off on the phone talking to the murderer. I mean, fuck.
You know, like, before I met you, I never jacked off.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
He said, honey, before I met you, I never jacked off, right?
Yes.
And you have no reason to doubt that, do you?
I have plenty of reason to doubt that.
Yeah, like common sense, other than, you know, he's 30 years old.
Yes, I do have reason to doubt that.
And you're basing your previous statements to us about him being with other women on what he told you, right?
Yes.
And yet we have him here via this technical medium telling us that he never jacked off before he met you. Isn't that what he's saying?
Yes.
And so what you're saying is that, well, I'll believe him when it's to my benefit, but I won't believe him when it's not.
Objection, this contrast is a testimony. We're talking about apples and oranges, sex versus masturbation.
Overruled. You may answer the question.
I don't know because I don't think that's to my benefit or not, either way.
Well, what you're saying to me is, I'll believe him when he tells me that he's having some sort of intimacies with other women. You told us that you believe that, right?
Yeah.
And you
I do.
believe that without talking to the women, right?
Yes.
Yet, when we hear him in court saying that he never masturbated or jacked off before he met you, you're saying you won't believe that, right?
Based on what he's also
Yes
told me,
or
then
no?
that would be no, because he has jacked off before
Yes
that.
or no? You won't believe what he just said there, right?
It wasn't consistent, so no.
So no, you don't believe him, right?
No, I don't believe that.
And in fact, with regard to this recording, the person that was recording it was you, right?
Yes.
And now the jury are in this awkward position, right? They're looking at each other going, do you think he jacked off? Well, you know, maybe he did jack off. It's like, do we need to go into deliberations about the jacking off, or?
It wasn't him, right?
No.
And you're saying that it was for his benefit, though, right? That's what you told us on direct examination, right?
No, I didn't say for his benefit. It was for us to listen to.
Well, it was actually for your benefit, wasn't it?
I don't see how.
Well, in terms of who had control of it, that was you, right?
Control of the recording?
Yes, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a recording that you made on May 10th of 2008. Are we clear on that?
Yes.
That recording was in your control, right?
Yes.
And less than a month before the murder. You know, May 10th to June 4th. Crazy. It really did come down to that Cancun trip. Didn't it? You know, Jodi probably thought, hey, you know, if I call him and really lay on the slut talk, you know, he'll probably take me on that trip.
It was never in Mr. Alexander's control, was it?
No.
So that if anybody was going to enjoy that recording, it was you.
No.
Well, if anybody had it, it was you then, right?
I had it, yes.
And if anybody wanted to hear it again, that would be, the only person that could do that would be you, right?
That's not right.
How is it that Mr. Alexander could hear it if you were the only person who had it?
That's what we were trying to figure out, how to replay it for him.
Ma'am, you still had control of it though, didn't you?
For about a week, I did.
Well, yes or no, did you have control of it?
Yes, for a week.
You keep saying for a week. Are you saying that you then gave it to him?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
All right, so, but you did have control of this recording in the sense that it was in your telephone, right?
Yes.
It was never in Mr. Alexander's possession, right?
No.
So if anybody wanted to listen to it, they would have to go through you, right?
At that time, yes.
Well, what time do you think we're talking about, ma'am?
I'm talking about for the week following the recording.
I'm talking about...
Beyond that, then the answer would be no.
The week following the recording, you keep referencing that. Did something happen to the record? Did you give the recording to Mr. Alexander after a week?
No.
Did you give this recording to Mr. Alexander after 2 or 3 weeks?
No, I never gave it to him.
That's true. So if anybody was going to enjoy this recording, it wasn't Mr. Alexander because he didn't have control of it, right?
What do we think is the reason that Jodi made the recording? I mean, it doesn't seem so likely to me that it would have been for some sort of blackmail, like, if you don't marry me, I'm gonna play all these tapes to the bishop. I mean, that's not how you start off a marriage, Jodi, okay? If you have to start off a marriage by threatening to play the tapes to the bishop, I'd look around for someone else, okay? But, what would be the purpose? Just for her own obsessive absorption of their conversation? Seems a strange thing to do. Even more strange, well, probably not quite as strange, as Travis and Jodi deciding to record the conversation together so that they could play it back as, to themselves.
That wasn't the purpose of the recording, so that we
Did
know.
I ask you what the purpose of the recording was, ma'am?
No.
I asked you if anybody was going to enjoy the fruits of this, whatever it was, it would have been you, right?
It would have been Travis.
Oh, so Travis was going to enjoy it even though he had no control over it, right?
I don't know how to answer that.
Why don't you know how to answer that?
Because
You're
the way
one
your
that-
question is
ma'am,
phrased.
excuse me. You were the one that was in control of it, right?
Yes.
And you were the one that actually created that recording, right?
We both created the recording.
Well, no, that's not true. Was he pushing the button over and over to keep this recording going? Or
No, I
was that you?
I was.
So you created it then, right?
I recorded it. We both created it together.
No, you recorded it, which means that's how it came into being. He had nothing to do with the recording, did he?
I don't agree with that.
Overruled.
No, I don't agree with that.
So you're saying that somehow he was pushing a button in Mesa so that this recording would come about? Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, technologically speaking, ma'am, the only person that was in control of creating this recording was you, right?
That's correct.
And he was a player, if you will, or one of the protagonists in this little tete-a-tete, whatever went on, right?
That's correct.
And so he didn't even know he was being recorded.
That's not correct.
Well, does he ever say at any point in that whole recording that we ever hear, could you record this for me? He doesn't say that, does he?
No, it was already recording.
Ma'am, does it say in that recording any words from Mr. Alexander that say anything to the effect that he knows that he's being recorded?
I don't think so.
When you say you don't think so, you were there when it was actually created, right?
Yes.
You were here when it was played, right?
Yes.
So you're familiar with this, right?
Yes.
And nowhere is there any indication that Mr. Alexander even knew that he was being recorded, right?
No, I don't think either of us say anything about it being recorded.
And you didn't tell him throughout this whole, from what we heard, you didn't tell him that he was being recorded, right?
I wouldn't have needed to. We already knew.
Ma'am, yes or no?
No.
In this recording, did you tell him that he was being recorded?
I answered no.
So, and you had this recording for whatever purposes you wanted to use it, right?
Yes.
You could have posted it on the internet if you wanted to, right?
In theory, yes, I could have.
Well, that can be done. You know how to do that, right?
Welcome back, Allison. Good to see you.
No, I didn't know how to get anything off the phone at that time, but if that was my goal, I could have figured that out.
Sure. And this recording that you had, for whatever reason, you chose not to erase it, right?
Not for a week.
Did you erase it after a week?
I And she still didn't erase it after the murder. You know, she had a month and 11 days, something like that, 41 days. She could have thrown away her journals with all that incriminating evidence. She could have destroyed the recordings of them, you know. I mean, you have to wonder. You have to wonder, like, was she that confident? Was she really that confident? I suppose your confidence would grow after time. I mean, it was the day of the discovery, or the day after, that she started phoning up Detective Flores and saying, hey, I was a really close friend of Travis's, nowhere near Arizona, but I just wanted to offer you any help that I can do from all the way up here in California. Yeah, I was recently on a road trip to Utah, not Arizona, but definitely in Utah. So if I can be of any assistance, I mean, she's been going to the memorial service, sending 20 irises. I think it was 20, does it matter? 20 irises to Travis's grandmother for the expressed purpose of this. I've chosen irises because this is what we were going to call our first child, baby Iris. Which I don't think was ever discussed. You know, when Jodi peppers in those little details, this is what Travis and I discussed naming our first child. And when did that conversation happen? And was he jerking off while having that conversation? Because if he was, it doesn't count. Okay? So...
Is that what you're saying?
I didn't have the opportunity. So no, I did not erase it after a week.
Pardon?
No, I didn't.
So, and you just said something about you didn't have an opportunity to erase it after a week. If this was on the 10th, what happened on May 17th that prevented you from having it erased?
Well, it may not have been exactly a week. I think it may have been the 18th instead of the 17th. But I believed that my phone was stolen, and it was actually lost for about, a few years. It didn't.
So according to you, this phone was stolen for approximately a couple of years, right?
Yes, I reported it stolen with the police, and I had insurance on the phone, so they replaced a new one for me.
And then it resurfaced, right?
Yes.
And, you know, yesterday when we talked about this issue involving recordings and that sort of thing, specifically...
Yeah. So, what was the deal with the phone? She lost the phone a couple of years ago, had insurance, so the company replaced it. And then she found it 2 years later. I mean, I want to know when that happened, because she's been in jail for, I think at this stage in the trial, I don't know if we're 2012 or 2014. It's really confusing because there was different sections to the trial. Anyway, she's definitely been in jail for more than 2 years at this point. So when did it resurface? Did that phone, was that stolen in the fake burglary of her grandparents' house, where she I mean, that's how she obtained the gun, right? The 2025 auto. I want to know if the phone was reported stolen at that time, and when she says it resurfaced 2 years later, did it resurface after she was already in jail? And Juan Martinez got a hold of a phone that Jodi thought he would never get a hold of. That would be an interesting fact to find out. Because, of course, these recordings would be on that phone, right? And Juan Martinez, and I guess the wider investigation team as a whole, was pretty good in this case particular about getting evidence way beyond the scope of the crime scene, or directly related evidence to the plot, like the gas cans and the Ryan burns. I mean, they really went back into her life.
Involving Mr. Alexander's penis, one of the things that you told us was that, well, yes.
What was that? All I heard was Mr. Alexander's penis. Which would be a great name for an album, wouldn't it? You know, a debut album. What would the band be called? I guess the band would be called the Spunk Buckets, and the title name of the debut album would be Mr. Alexander's Penis. I think that'd be a worthy tribute.
This issue involving recordings and that sort of thing, and specifically involving Mr. Alexander's penis, one of the things that you told us was that, well, yes, I was the one that downloaded it onto the hard drive of my computer, right? Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
If you would have been offended, ma'am, you could have deleted that photograph, right?
If I was offended.
Yeah, you could have, but you didn't do that, right?
Right, I wasn't offended.
Now, in terms of this recording, it also gives us a view into what your views are about the sexual relationship that you had with Mr. Alexander, doesn't it?
Yes.
And in fact, in it, you indicate that you want to blossom sexually, right?
Yes.
And that he's the person that you want to help you blossom sexually, correct?
I didn't say want, I said I have with him, and that I would like to in the future with somebody else.
Well, let's take a look so that we're totally clear about what you said.
Allison's got another one for the sidebar menu. Rock solid Alab ice cream. Yeah. I do kind of like that. Alab ice cream. It's yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good. It's a bit of a mouthful. Yeah, but no, it's pretty good. Thank you.
I move for the addition of Exhibit 493.
No objection.
493 is admitted.
You're not joking. I mean, like there are times when we just, I'm trying to think of an example. There have been a few times where I've been bold enough to just pull you onto the bed and start, and oh my gosh, do you remember that time I came to visit you when I was still working in California, and I felt...
Oh, this is excruciating.
fell asleep on your chair next to your bed. And you just like woke me up by pulling my pants off and totally licking my pussy.
Yeah.
I was so embarrassed because I had just like got my Brazilian on and I was like worried about what it looked like. And I was like, ah, and the lights were bright and they were on. I was all self-conscious. But I remember that was hot. I was totally tired and I was asleep. And I would have been completely content just cuddling with you once we got into bed, but you had another agenda.
That voice thing she does. You had another agenda. I mean, it's tough. She should immediately be placed onto suicide watch after this, because I'd slit my wrists if I had to listen to saying something like that. My God. You had another agenda. It's pretty chilling, her ability to sit there and take it, go through it with this, stone cold expression.
You gotta admit though, like, there's not many guys that would do that. It's just fun.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I don't know what the ratio is, but I get the impression that it's kind of an awkward subject to bring up, but, eventually we're both going to remarry people, and I just get the feeling that there aren't a lot of Mormon guys like that. And there may or may not. I'm sure there are plenty of freaky Mormon girls, but are they the marrying type? I shouldn't say that. I'm just saying, are they the type that you'd want to marry, or are the guys out there the type that I'd want to marry? And I don't know. Like, I really would like to marry a return missionary, but like you, someone who can be freaky. Like, I just worry about that. There are plenty of nice people out there, but I worry that I might feel like a wilting flower, is all.
That is desperate, isn't it? Eventually, we're both going to be married people. Travis is like, yeah. Can we talk about this later? I was just about to come. She's just really one-dimensional, which is surprising because she's articulate, bright, I'm not sure why she feels or felt that all she had to rely on was fucking. And any of her charm was merely just something that led up to fucking, or, it would get pretty boring. I mean, if that's all there is,
Who never really blossomed to her full potential, at least in the sexual realm. I feel like I have with you, but like I still have plenty of blossom time left. And I want to live all those years being that.
Blossom time. I still want to know about this phone thing. I think, does anyone have this information? Juan Martinez said that the phone with the recordings was lost, and you claimed on insurance and you got a new phone, but it was lost for a couple of years and then it resurfaced. Now, that could be two things. That could be either she lost the phone in 2006, and then found it and made recordings, or she made recordings, then the fake burglary happened. That's more likely, isn't it? Because that was the phone with the calls on. So she got arrested when that phone was still lost, quotes, and the cops found it.
Way. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, I'm going to enjoy your blossoms and come up there.
Yeah.
I'm going to tie you to a tree and put it in your ass, by the way.
What's that?
I'm going to tie you to a tree and put it in your ass, by the way.
Oh my gosh. That is so debasing. I like it.
Ma'am, you did hear the talk there as this started about a situation where he woke you up in a sexual fashion, didn't he?
Yes.
Do you remember on direct examination also telling us that on a previous occasion when you first had vaginal intercourse with him that he woke you up in a similar fashion, right?
Well, similarly, yes.
Well, what you told us that at that time was that you were asleep. Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
And that he pulled your panties or whatever it was that you were wearing down below, correct?
Which time?
The time that you claimed that he placed his penis inside you.
I don't know. I wasn't awake for that. My panties were missing.
Okay, what was that now?
They were missing when I woke up.
So, but you went to bed with them on, right?
I woke up without them still, and I had to look for them.
Well, ma'am, do you remember testifying on direct examination that you had your panties on and that he took your panties off? Do you remember testifying to that?
I assumed he took them off.
Well, I'm not asking you to assume anything right now. I'm asking you whether or not you remember that that's what you testified to.
Yes, I remember that.
And as part of that encounter, one of the things that you told us was that he went inside you, right?
Yes.
And he didn't have permission, right?
I guess technically not.
Well, no, not technically. That's what you told us. Do you remember telling us that?
I remember my attorney asking me if
Ma'am, I'm not asking you what your attorney asked you. I don't care about his questions. I care about your answers. My question to you, isn't it true that you responded or told us that he was doing it without your permission and that you didn't like it?
I don't remember that. I don't remember characterizing it that way.
And so you did like it when he went inside you?
Objection, as characterized as a testimony. She was asleep.
Overruled.
It wasn't really like or dislike. I was just worried is all.
You say that you're worried. So, and my question to you is, if you liked it or didn't like it, did you express any preference either way to Mr. Alexander?
I don't think I did.
Did you forget what you told us that you did after that?
I said his name after that.
And then what after that, what did you remember that you told us that you did?
That he, well, when I said his name and I kind of tried to get out from underneath him, his thrusts quickened, and then after that, we sort of broke apart and he pushed my head under the covers.
Right. So that's we're talking about the same encounter, right?
Yes.
And it was consensual, though, even though you were asleep, wasn't it?
Objection, Your Honor, that mischaracterizes the law.
Overruled. You may answer.
Well, I didn't object to it.
So if you didn't object to it, it meant it was consensual, right?
Objection, Your Honor, mischaracterizes the law. She was asleep.
Approach.
Looks like Buy Me a Coffee have updated their coolness. Let's see if we can test this out. They are so cool. Buy Me a Coffee rocks. Is it gonna do it? Oh, that's really small. Oh, okay. So we're gonna move the chat. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Gonna move the chat way over here. And then we'll do a test. Why is it so small? Okay, well, we'll look into it later.
It's yes and no. Or
Stop. Correct. You never indicated to him afterwards not to do that, right?
no.
And in fact, what we just heard was you lauding him or praising him for waking you up, engaging in intercourse, oral intercourse with you, right?
Yes.
So it's the same thing, only something different is going inside your body without getting too graphic, isn't it?
Well, I was awake when there was any kind of penetration on that account, so
Well, no.
it's somewhat similar, I would say.
Ma'am, do you want to hear this again where you indicate that you say you woke me up by pulling my pants off and licking my pussy?
Yes.
So he did wake you up in the same fashion, didn't he?
I was awoken as my pants were coming off. So, yeah, similar, yes.
And you didn't have any problem with that, right?
I was embarrassed, but other than that, no.
When you say that you were embarrassed, you weren't
It's day 24, Allison.
embarrassed because of the sexual act. You were embarrassed because of the fact that you had just taken some cosmetic
Yes.
approach to your pelvic area, correct?
Yes, and the lights were bright, yes.
Right. But other than that, you didn't have any objection to it, right?
That's right.
And you wanted to continue to blossom, right?
Yes,
And you wanted to continue, and you wanted to blossom sexually, right?
yes.
So that when we hear, for example, that there was this situation where, of the many that you've described, where he comes over to your house, for example, on the porch, and you guys do whatever it is that you do, that's part of the blossoming process, isn't it?
I would say so.
And all the other activity that occurred between the two of you, including, for example, this telephone call that took place between two consenting adults, that's also part of the blossoming process, right?
I guess so.
Well, no, you were there, right?
Well, I'm talking about sex, and I didn't have sex while I was on the phone, so,
And you told us that for you it takes two hands, right?
yeah.
And so with regard to this particular conversation, you just didn't have any fun at all, right?
No, I wasn't saying that.
Well, your words and your demeanor speak for themselves on the telephone, correct?
Yes.
And one of the other things that we know from that conversation, in terms of your blossoming, is that you and Mr. Alexander discussed making a movie, right?
Yes.
And you discussed making a sexual movie, correct?
Yes.
And it wasn't like you were telling him, no, I don't want to do that sexual movie. You actually were into it as much as he was, right?
Yes.
And in fact, as part of this sexual blossoming, there are other things that you asked him to do for you, didn't you?
Yes.
Let's take a look at some of them. 494. Recognize that?
Yes.
These are two text messages that you sent to Mr. Alexander, correct?
Yes.
What is the date of those?
The date is February 25th.
And there is a time there, but as you previously told us when you first testified on direct, that time is 7 hours ahead of what the real time is, correct?
That's correct.
Move to the admission of Exhibit 494.
No objection.
494 submitted.
Let's take a look at what 494 says. This is you sending him this text message, right?
Yes.
And this was part of the relationship that you had with him, right?
That's right.
There was a sexual component to it, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it was always a component that you partook of as much as he did, right?
Yes.
And in it you say, if you're a lucky boy and you promise to give me a good, well-deserved spanking, and then there's a period there, right?
Yes.
And then you also say, maybe you could give my ass a too much needed pounding too. Kidding, correct?
Yes.
You were kidding about the second portion, but not the first portion, correct?
Yes.
When someone puts kidding like that, you know, they're not kidding.
Take a look at Exhibit 495. Do you recognize that series of text messages?
Yes.
And
The stenographers just had to type out, maybe you could give my ass a well-needed pounding. Oh. Are you gonna pound my ass?
those also involve some sexual activities between the two of you, correct?
Yes. Well, ones we're anticipating.
Pardon?
Ones we're planning on.
And the date on this is February 26th of 08, correct?
26th?
Well, let me have you look at it. At least that's what it says.
It would have been the 25th, but it says the 26th.
And that's because of the 7-hour issue that we've talked about before.
That's right.
I move for the admission of Exhibit 495.
No objection.
Submitted.
Oh, look, they're all wearing blue ribbons. That must be for Travis.
Take a look at Exhibit 495. You start out by saying, oh my gosh, this is so freaking hot, I want to lick it up, and then sit on it, you are so tasty, my goodness, correct?
Yes.
You were talking about his penis, right?
Yes, he sent me a photo of it.
And it appears he did send you a photograph, correct?
Yes.
You were not offended by him sending you a photograph, correct?
No.
even though we had a photograph here that was introduced, it was the same sort of photograph as the one that was introduced at trial, right?
Yes.
Nothing different than the one that was here that was introduced. In other words, it was his penis and whatever was happening with it, correct?
In that regard, nothing was different.
And in fact, he then said, I'm glad you like it, right?
Yes.
And then you said, oh yes, I want to fuck.
That will be the track one, the number one of what was the album called? The band was called the Spunk Buckets, and the album was called Mr. Alexander's Penis. Track one, and whatever was happening with it.
Fuck you like a dirty, horny little schoolgirl, right?
Yes.
So the schoolgirl issue here in this conversation is being brought up by you, not by him, right?
That's right.
And in fact, this issue about the schoolgirl that may have been presented as part of the conversation on May 10th of 2008, well, you were enjoying it too, weren't you?
I don't think we said schoolgirl on the tape.
Pardon?
I don't think I said schoolgirl on the tape, but as far as that goes, yes.
Yeah. You like dressing up like a horny little schoolgirl, for lack of a better term, right?
Well, I think I said on direct I didn't have
What other term would there be?
a schoolgirl outfit, but it was kind of, that was the idea.
You did enjoy dressing up for him, right?
Yes.
And you enjoyed, at least indicating here, in February of 2008, that it had to do with looking like a little schoolgirl, correct?
I guess so, yeah.
Well, no, you keep saying you guess so, but isn't that what you wrote?
No, I didn't say look in that text message.
Pardon?
You said looking like, and I don't see that in the text
All
message.
right, so, okay, let's read it. I want to fuck you like a dirty, horny little schoolgirl. So that implies that you are dressed up in a certain fashion, right?
Yes.
And it also implies that, or indicates that it's you that's the person that likes this sort of activity and looking like a horny little schoolgirl, right?
Yes.
Although we heard previously some talk about braids and that it was only him that wanted that. It was a consensual, mutual relationship, sexually speaking, wasn't it?
Yes, always.
This issue involving the idea that there was going to be a movie and what was going to happen in the movie.
Yeah, that was probably his favorite song by, well, I guess a lot of people did it. I think Bad Company and Steppenwolf.
Part of it, or what it took place during a conversation that you had on May 10th of 2008, right?
Yes.
And it can be characterized as phone sex, correct?
Yes.
And it can also be fair to say that what people say during phone sex isn't necessarily true. Wouldn't you agree to that?
I would agree to that.
Well, ma'am, what you said in your phone sex conversation with Mr. Alexander, according to your own testimony, part of it was a lie, wasn't it?
Are you talking about how he never jerked off?
No, I'm talking about what you said in that conversation. What you said, part of what was going on was a lie, wasn't it?
Yes, part of it was a lie.
Sure it was a lie, right? And so at least if we're using this conversation as a point of reference, people, you and Mr. Alexander, but you specifically, you lied to him, right?
I did.
And there was no harm in it because it was just a fantasy kind of conversation, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just fantasy.
Right, and so that if he says he wants to tie you up to a tree and stick it up your ass, that could also be seen as fantasy, right?
Yes.
That never happened, did it?
No.
And talking about, for example, these things about the movie and that sort of thing, whether or not you believed it or not, it was part of the fantasy of that conversation, wasn't it?
Look at Kirk Nami's face. If he says he wants to tie you to a tree and put it up your ass... Kokonami looks like he's got something up his ass right now.
Yes.
So, for example, if you just listen to one of these snippets or one of these exchanges, we can see that perhaps it's just all a fantasy. Let me have this marked as exhibit. I move for the admission of Exhibit 496.
No objection.
496 is admitted.
$4.96, and we're about halfway through trial. Isn't it like Christmas morning, you know, with these exhibits? It's like, you know, you open a present, and you know, and then there's another one, and they just keep coming.
And ma'am, before we listen to it, in this particular excerpt, you would actually indicate that you believe that maybe this making of this movie could be artistic. I want you to listen to that.
I was saying, I'm kind of envisioning one, like when you're titty fucking me, but like I'm looking with my head tilted back, so all you can really see is like the outline of my chin and some of my cheek and jawbone, and like my ears and hair, but you can't really see the rest of my face. You could just see a dick between two tits, like in focus with the neck and everything sort of a little bit blurry, but they're like kind of artistic, you know what I'm saying?
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know if we could do that, because your legs may take up the spot where the camera should be, but I think we could get something like that. Or vice versa. Ooh, I've got more ideas. Okay, go ahead.
Well, we'll work that out. Worst case scenario, we could do it from like the reverse angle or just like the other way.
And we could still blur my face and put your cock and stuff like that. You have a...
It's so damning to her whole line about this putting up with this sex maniac who he anally violated me right after my baptism. You know, she's beyond into it, and you know, I don't think. I mean, yeah, Travis is enjoying it, I guess, but like she's way more into it.
Good-looking dick, baby. I just want to let you know.
You like my dick?
Yeah. It's like, it just, so smooth. And it goes so, like the first time you fucked me, it felt so good. You went just where I needed it. Just went where I just needed it back.
Hey Jodi, you know, it's been about 4 hours of this. How about current events? Let's talk about current events. You know, just some variety, you know.
You fucked me so right.
You do say that it could be an artistic endeavor, right?
Yes.
And in fact, that comes from the fact that you like to take photographs, correct?
Yes.
And that's sort of one side of your life that you have, correct?
Yes.
And so, again, the fact that you're talking about it doesn't mean that you're actually going to do it, right?
We were kind of tentatively planning it, but I don't know whether we were actually going to do it or not.
Right, and it's a situation, again, that sometimes when people are involved in the sex...
I love how he didn't call her a professional photographer and instead said you like to take photographs.
Situation like what this appears to be, they get caught up in the heat of the moment and they say things that are related to what's going on, correct?
I would agree with that.
Ma'am, and during this conversation, you and he actually discussed whether or not you guys should stop this particular activity of having sex, don't you?
Stop having sex?
Or stop having sex, stop having phone sex, that sort of thing.
I think we did, yes.
Well, let's hear what you actually say. Come up with the admission of Exhibit 497.
No objection.
497 is admitted.
Absolutely, Deb. You know, but 4 hours non-stop without anything else, I would get bored. You know.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to get pictures of jizzle on your face.
That's gonna be cool, actually. It's gonna be.
Try to get one as I'm coming on your face. And then,
Yeah, definitely.
like mid-shot.
Mm-hmm. You make me so horny. I seriously think about having sex with you every day. Several times a day. I think about how it feels to have your cock deep inside of me. I remember it. And I want it again.
Is it wrong that I'm glad we started fucking?
What?
Is it wrong that I'm glad that we started fucking?
Well, if it's wrong, then I don't want to be right. Because I'm glad too. Like, seriously?
Internally, I'm like, okay, it's Jodi. I'm just Jodi. I'm always Jodi.
Like, I don't know. What's wrong is that I wish we were doing it before. Because
Yeah.
that was good, and it's
Once we did it, why not do it? Yeah.
I know what you mean.
And it appears that there's a bit of a conflict because the two of you keep engaging in sexual activity, correct?
That's correct.
Whether it be by telephone or whether it be in person, correct?
Yes.
And this issue involving you and he having sex, it also created a conflict for him, right?
Yes.
And you knew that it had to do with the LDS faith, right?
Yes.
And you were also LDS, and that created a conflict for you too, right?
Yes.
And so it wasn't a situation that it was a secret to both of you that perhaps, since you were both members of the LDS faith, this is not what you should be engaging in, right?
That's right.
But neither of you cared, right?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Ma'am, you still continue to engage in sexual activities with him, even though you had this conflict, didn't you?
Yes.
And even though he says he has this conflict here, he still continued to have sex with you, right?
Yes.
So even though you were two conflicted persons, you still continued to engage in this activity, right?
Yeah, that's what the conflict was about.
Right. And in fact, you even had a description of the two of you, didn't you, in that conversation that we just heard from May 10th of 2008, don't you?
Yes.
Let's hear what you said. I move for the admission of 498.
No objection.
498 is admitted.
I wish only one thing extra for this trial. And that is that Jodi's mom and aunt were wearing matching outfits with little matching hats. That would have been great. Wow, who's that behind them? Kind of looks like what John Lennon might have looked like now if he hadn't been shot. Same glasses. Actually, it's a bit like a cross between John Lennon and Elton John. Elton John Lennon.
That's right. I asked you not to so I could get in the... Hang on, I thought I heard somebody. Let me just double check. Oh, I think it was my perjure. Oh. All right, we're good. Coast is clear.
Yeah, you're right, Cindy. It was a bit like Yoko Ono. Like, you know, way after the death. After the long hair Yoko Ono and into the conceptual artist Yoko Ono of more recent years.
Let me get back into the groove. Staying with it.
I'll have you the pictures I'm going to take just so be able.
Like, what are we going to do with ourselves? We are just horny toads.
Ma'am, that's just an acknowledgement there that both of you are into each other sexually, correct?
That's correct.
And there's no indication from anything that we've heard that you were offended by the physical sexual activities that were going on, right?
Right.
It may have been a conflict, but the two of you enjoyed each other. Or at least you enjoyed him as much as it appeared that he was enjoying you, right?
Yes.
And you had at least that kind of relationship to the point where you actually had a name for him, or a pet name for him, didn't you?
Yes.
Let me show you this exhibit.
What was Jodi's pet name for Travis? Anyone got any guesses in the chat? That'd be... I'm thinking something like... what could it be? The aubergine baguette.
Take a look at exhibit 499. Do you recognize it?
is it just T-Dog? Because everyone called him T-Dog.
Yes.
It's a text message that you sent, right?
Yes.
What's the date?
Oh yeah, no, it's Hardy Biscotti, yeah, which she also named, appropriated to Ryan Burns. And you know, for me, that phrase Hardy Biscotti really sums up the style of flirt that Jodi is, right? She calls everybody Hardy Biscotti. You know, it's sort of fun, it's creative, it's special, but she uses it for everybody.
The date is 21st. Actually, it would have been the 20th of January.
And you're saying that it was the 21st of January because of the time difference, right?
Yes, it was the 20th, but it shows the 21st.
Move for the admission of Exhibit 499.
No objection.
499 is admitted.
And that's you sending him a message saying, hey, Hardy Biscotti will you call me before you hit the sack, right?
Yes,
I have a question about tomorrow morning. Thanks, my dear, correct?
that's correct.
And you actually called him Hardy Biscotti, correct?
Yes,
And that's because he was, in part, because he was special to you, right?
yes,
Because apparently at that time you were in love with him, right?
I believe I was. Yes,
And it's something that two people who are intimate have in common, right?
yes,
But he really wasn't that special to you, was he?
I wouldn't say that.
Well, let's take a look at another exhibit. 287. This is to Ryan Burns. You see that? It says Ryan's PPL, Gmail.
Right.
You're me. You see that?
Yes,
And you say to him, at some point before you go meet him, hey, Hardy Biscotti, what's new, right?
yes,
Isn't that the same thing that you called Mr. Alexander?
yes, I called a lot of people that.
So what you're saying is, when you call that Mr. Alexander that, it didn't mean anything then.
I wouldn't say it was meaningless, no.
It could also mean that when you started calling
She's 32, I believe. Deb.
Mr. Burns, Hardy Biscotti, was that Mr. Alexander really didn't mean that much to you, right?
That's not what it meant.
Well, it could, though, based on what we see.
She's answered the question.
Sustained.
You called them both by the same name, right?
Yes,
And you only had one encounter with Mr. Burns, correct?
well, I met him once, and then I saw him again, so that would be twice, but if you're talking about the physical encounter, yeah.
Right.
One time, I guess.
Yeah, one time, right?
Unless you count shaking his hand, which I guess that doesn't really
Pardon?
count.
I didn't hear what you said.
I'm sorry, unless you count, we shook hands and spoke briefly. I don't even really remember it, so it was,
Yeah, he we shook hands once in Oklahoma, and I categorized that as a vicious sexual assault on my Mormon soul.
Pretty brief, but
In terms of a one-on-one with
Yes,
Mr.
that
Burns,
would
it
be
was only
one.
one time, right?
yes,
And you're already calling him Hadi Biscotti, at least through this PPL, or at least through this instant messaging thing, right?
that's right.
And exhibit number 286, it tells us a little bit more of what actually happened when you went to see him. I want you to go down here and read what he says, starting with the ha-ha, if you can read it. If not, I'll bring it in. Go ahead and read it out loud.
It says, haha, well, we woke up, we sat there for a bit, and then we held each other, and then we started to kiss. Then you said I could not be comfortable, and you adjusted me.
So it does say that you told him that he could not be comfortable, and so you adjusted him, right?
Yes.
And then what else does he say? It's above it.
Then you pressed your body really close to mine and started to kiss me.
So you were on top of him, weren't you?
Yes, well, kind of on top of him, off to the side a little. I think on his left.
But you did start to press your body close to him, right?
Yes.
And then you say what? It's right above it.
Well, I think it's out of order, but I say, well, I would gladly give it to you.
And then right above it, he asks.
Can I ask what else you might give me?
And your answer is?
You can ask, but you'll have to wait and see for that one.
Bottom line, you're sort of already involved in the same sort of give and take that you were involved with Mr. Alexander, correct?
Yes.
Ma'am, there's a number of stories that you gave in this particular case involving the killing. There was one that you gave on the 15th of July of 2008 to Detective Flores, right?
Yes.
There's another one that you gave on July 16th of 2008 to Detective Flores, right?
Yes.
But then you still gave another view of what happened to 48 hours, right?
I think I was inconsistent in my lies. Yes.
So let's take a look at what you may have said 48 hours.
Inconsistent in your lies. I mean, your core story has changed at least 6 times. Rigorously. And then all the details are just completely fluid. That Wendy's triple story in Arinburg, I don't think that happened.
I move for the admission of Exhibit 500.
No objection.
500 is admitted.
Feel comfortable talking
Yeah,
about it?
let me talk about, I'll talk about this, and nobody knows this.
She literally talks like she's a movie star. Right? That is gifted an interview to some network. It's astonishing.
feel comfortable talking
Yeah,
about it.
let me talk about, I'll talk about this, and nobody knows this. The detectives know this, because I've spoken with them. Boy, this is really hard. I'm trying to think if I want to say this or not. There is a lot of evidence that places me at Travis's house the day he was, or not just the day he was killed, but the day, that most of that week. And there is a reason for that. And that reason is that that I did see Travis the day that he passed away. And a lot of things happened that day. I almost lost my life as well. And I was told that I can't speak about it or tell anyone about it because my family's life was in danger over it. I was told that if I did, that they would all die and that I would die. And that was kind of the end of the story. There was an argument among some people, two individuals, that one wanted to take my life, and one said, that's not why we came. And at one point, the guy with the gun sort of succumbed to her pressure, I think, because he was holding the gun at my forehead, and I was on the ground, on my knees, and I was near the armoire of where he kept his TV in his bedroom, and Travis was in the bathroom. She was standing over Travis near him, and the guy with the gun was standing near me, and again, this argument was going on back and forth. And I just remember holding my head and closing my eyes. And then there was so much that went on that day, but the short of it is he pulled the trigger and nothing happened, just a click. And I realized then that he probably, I don't know if that means that he was out of bullets, or I don't know what that means. I wasn't that familiar with handguns. And so at that point, I pushed past him and I ran down the stairs. He didn't make much of an effort to stop me. But I could almost swear that I heard someone following me down the stairs, and I ran out the front door, and I got into my car, and I drove, and I left.
Ma'am, nowhere in that recitation or in any of the interviews that you gave with 48 Hours did you ever indicate that you had...
It's pretty amazing that she did that. And that bit at the beginning where she's stalling and thinking whether or not she's going to do it, I believe that. I believe that she made that decision in the moment. Obviously, the story's prepped. But anybody watching that, Chris Hughes, Sky Hughes, that other guy, fucking weird guy that kept playing the piano on the stand and looking up. What was his name? Dan Freeman. Oh, I hate him. I mean, I know I shouldn't because he's just a witness, but I really, really hate him. Yeah, it's pretty amazing that she did that. I mean, none of those guys are going to listen to that and go, this makes sense. And it didn't even become the story she went with. This whole ninja story. She really shouldn't have done any media interviews. Every single one of them has been very damaging to her case, No jury will convict me. Mark my words.
Memory loss, correct?
That's correct.
And in fact, you gave a slightly different view of the same event to 48 hours on another occasion, didn't you?
Yes, couldn't keep my story straight.
Couldn't keep my story straight, but it's good now. It's good news now, jury, because it's all been straightened out. Travis was a pedophile, struggling to control urges. He made me wear male briefs for the 4 to 6s with Spider-Man, because there was a child in his life that loved Spider-Man. So that was his way of being close to the boy. Yeah, the story's all straightened out now.
I move for the admission of Exhibit 501.
No objection.
501 is admitted.
Again, I was looking down and going through some photos. He is really critical of himself. You know, we're all our own worst critics, and so, you know, some pictures he liked, some he didn't. And I was looking through the pictures, and I heard again a loud pop, and I was hit on the back of the head. I don't think I was out very long. But when I came to, I was kind of laying next to the bathtub and the shower right next to each other. And Travis was on all fours on the tile. And he was, well, I say all fours, but one of his hands was actually holding his head. And I mean, he wasn't laying down or anything. He was kind of on his knees and on the, you know, on his...
I don't want to say this is well acted, because it's not. But I think it's an impressive attempt. You know, it has some things done well. You know, her eye control is often in the right places, but you know, overall it doesn't work, not one bit.
His hands.
Hey Patricia, how you doing? Good to see you.
And at that point I looked over toward the entrance of the bathroom. There was a hallway and two people were walking down the hallway, and I ran into the closet. It's a big closet. And I was going to run out the other door, except he stopped me with a gun pointed at my forehead. And I was just, you know, when you have a gun pointed to your forehead, you just do anything. So he told me to get down onto my knees and stand over or sit over by the armoire. So I just stayed there, squatting on my knees next to the armoire. And he left the room for a minute, maybe a few minutes. And she was in the bathroom, standing over Travis, and I charged her. I ran down that hall and I pushed her as hard as I could, and she fell over him, landed near the sink. There's 2 sinks in the master bath, and he landed near the left sink, kind of near the trash can, close to the windows, and I.
You see, in one story, she's managed to cast herself as the victim, the hero, and the falsely accused, the persecuted. The victim, the hero, and the persecuted. What else? Well, that's good enough. That's what you call a hard sell.
I started to pull on him and I said, come on, come on, come on, let's go, let's go. And he just wasn't, he was sluggish and lethargic, and he just wasn't getting up, and he wasn't really saying much of anything. He was there and he was conscious, and I could see that. He wasn't saying much. I was able to get him he was sort of not crawling, but he was kind of moving and trying to stand up. And I was able to get him about halfway down the hallway when she came back at me, and we struggled for a few minutes. And again, she was doing what she could to overpower me, and she was kicking me, and she was stomping on my feet, and she was trying to kick my knees, and I was just kind of bending them or trying to do what I could. And he came back in the room, and again, I had to go back to where I was sitting and stay there, and that's when they both began to argue about whether or not I should die. And there was an argument that went on back and forth between them for several minutes. At least it felt like several minutes. And he didn't want to, and she did, and she kept saying why they should, and he kept saying, well, that's not why we came here, and you know, after he had gone through my persecution.
Yeah, I mean, compared to Chris Watts, she's an Oscar nominee, winner, all the Oscars. Chris Watts. No, honestly, I have like no idea where they went at all, ever. This is something I would never do. You know, at first I thought Shanann was just blowing off steam, but now, with everything that's happened, it's making me lean that other direction. What is that? I'm amazed that they let him go the first night. I guess they were watching him.
Again, he finally just pulled the trigger, and I thought, honestly, it's over. It's the weirdest feeling to think that it's going to be over at any second, and then someone pulls the trigger, but you're still there. And at that point, I just ran. I pushed right past him, and I flew down the stairs. And like there's part of I wasn't even in my body. I think I was, but everything felt numb. I was hyperventilating, and my heart was racing. And so even as I went down the stairs, there was part of me, like my brain was telling my legs, don't screw up, or you're going to fly down these stairs and you're not going to get away. So I'm, trying my best not to stumble down these stairs, and I just went out as fast as I could and out the door and slammed the door behind me and got in the car and left.
And that's another version of the events that occurred on June 4th of 2000.
Yeah, and almost directly after that, left a fake voicemail for Travis saying, well, we were looking at the May calendar, duh, and we were discussing your trip up. So how about we go to Crater Lake and You know, we would love for you to accompany us to the Othello. We want to go and see Othello at Shakespeare. Whoa. At Shakespeare in the Park. We would love for you to accompany us. I drove 100 miles in the wrong direction. Over 100 miles, thank you very much. Sorry.
2008, correct?
Yes,
And they're not true.
neither of them. Well, it's all the same thing, it's just different versions. Couldn't keep my life straight.
So the answer is they're not true, right?
Neither of them, yes.
Ma'am, you did also continue to talk to 48 Hours about...
It's the second time at least that she keeps this line of, I couldn't keep my lies straight. You know. Probably she wants to convey, well, I tried the whole lying thing and, you know, I wasn't very good at it. Got caught. Couldn't keep them straight. So now I've given up on that idea and I've decided to tell the truth. Which is, he was a Spider-Man pedo that anally violated me directly after my baptism. And, and so on.
coming to Mesa. Do you remember talking to them about that?
Yes.
And do you remember talking to them about what your plans were initially? Do you remember about that?
Yes.
And the reason that you came out to Mesa, you didn't have a plan initially, correct?
Do you mean on June 4th?
Pardon?
Are you talking about on June 4th?
I'm talking about when you left Wairika.
What was your question? I'm sorry.
My question is, according to you, you didn't have any plans to come to Mesa initially when you left Wairika, correct?
That's correct.
And in fact, that's something that you told 48 Hours, right?
Yes.
Take a look at what you told them. Move for the admission of Exhibit 502.
No objection.
502 is admitted.
So tell me about this trip on this particular day. Did you plan that in advance or did you surprise
No,
them?
I'm really kind of like go by the wind when I take my road trips. I usually plan more than I can actually do, and then I cross some off the list when I feel I can't. So on this last trip, my plan was to go to Monterey, to Los Angeles, to San Diego, to Utah, and then over to Death Valley, and then back up to Wairika. And it certainly didn't go anything like that. It went Santa Cruz, and then Monterey. And then I went to LA and Pasadena. And then I skipped San Diego. And it was when I was in Pasadena that night that
What the fuck, Jodi? I mean, can you write that down? How am I supposed to remember that? I need to hear it again. All I heard was Death Valley, and then I stopped listening.
This particular day, did you plan that in advance, or did you surprise
No,
me?
I'm really kind of like go by the wind when I take my road trips. I usually plan more than I can actually do, and then I cross some off the list when I feel I can't. So on this last trip, my plan was to go to Monterey, to Los Angeles, to San Diego, to Utah.
Okay, I'm already lost. Monterey, Los Angeles, to San Diego, to Utah. I mean, it's a lot of stops. I mean, you know?
And then over to Death Valley, and then back up to Wairika. And it certainly didn't go anything like that. It went Santa Cruz, and then Monterey. And then I went to LA and Pasadena. And then I skipped San Diego. And it was when I was in Pasadena that night that I decided to go to Mesa. And Travis had found out about my road trip about a week prior. And he has this way of kind of guilting me, not in a bad way.
She loves the word prior. I don't think she ever uses the word before. It's always prior. And as Michael Swan will tell us, there's a time and a place for each of them.
Just like making me sort of feel bad. So he said, well, why don't you come to Mesa instead and you can visit me? And I was like, no, I have other things that I need to do and other plans and other people. I didn't say it in that way because you have to kind of be delicate about it. Otherwise, he would take offense, I think. And so he would say things like, okay, I see, whatever. I see how it is. You don't love me, just as a joke, though. And so it just kind of pulls on my heartstrings a little. And again, I was weak and I folded and I decided that I'm going to go. And so I called him when I was in Pasadena and said, guess what? And he said, what? And I said, I'm coming to Mesa. And he said, really? And I said, yeah. He's like, all right, cool. And so, we hung up the phone and I drove. And I told him he didn't have to wait up for me because, I was still in Pasadena. And that's probably a good 5 hours and something, just all the way to Mesa. And as well as that, my phone was about to die. So, I just said, if I don't speak to you again until I get there, then, that's why. And so I showed up, I think, around 4 a.m. And he was still awake. He had stayed up all night. He was on the internet looking up some videos on YouTube, some silly videos. And we watched some more videos for a little while. And then it was just like I was exhausted from the drive. So we just went to bed and went to sleep. And,
With regard to the videos that he was looking at, we've heard something about quicker, faster, stronger, something like that. They weren't of any sexual nature, were they?
No.
And in fact, it may have been the way you
It's Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger by Daft Punk.
described it, that it was some people with some sort of weird or funny headgear that were just dancing around. That's the way you described it,
It
right?
looked that way, yes.
And so you actually left Wairika on June 2nd of 2008, correct?
Yes.
And prior to that, though, you made some preparations, didn't you?
Yes.
You made some preparations in the sense that, according to you, you made a reservation to rent a car, right?
Right.
And the reservation to rent the car was made not in Wairika, but in some other place, right?
It was made online. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, in Reading, for Reading, yes.
Right. And Wairika does have some rental car companies, correct?
That's correct.
And in fact, what happened was that when you went to Reading to rent the car, you even had to, for lack of a better term, inconvenience somebody else to take you to get your car, to get the rental car, and then take you back to their house, right?
That's right.
And it would have been much more convenient in Wairika to go rent the car in Wairika, wouldn't it?
Not for my bank account, no.
Well, when you're saying your bank account, you're talking about financial reasons, right?
Right.
And how much money did you take with you in cash?
I don't recall, but it was probably a few hundred, I think.
So when you say a few hundred, are we talking about 200?
Maybe that, not much more, somewhere in that ballpark. It was between like 80 and 200. I don't remember the exact amount.
So it's between $80 and $200, maximum being $200, right?
I think. I don't really remember as far as cash.
Well, could it have been $300?
Yeah, Daft Punk song originally, but of course the best version was by Pamplemousse. There you go. Anybody want it in the chat? It's a good video. The organ player is a beast. Organ player is a beast. He plays like an angry bear, you know what I'm saying?
It could have. I don't remember having that much cash on me, but I guess it could have.
If you don't remember having that much cash on you, then it wasn't $300, right?
Well, it just means I don't remember. Probably not.
All right, and so previously during the direct examination, you told us that when you go on these trips, you don't take usually more than $200. Do you remember telling us that?
Yeah, that's typical.
And so in this particular case, you said, well, I had financial issues, and so I decided to rent out of Reading because it was cheaper, right?
That's right.
But it would have been more convenient, though, to rent from Wairika, correct?
Convenient for who?
You.
No.
In terms of picking up the car, it wouldn't have been convenient?
No.
Well, Wairika, you told us, was a small town, right?
Yes.
And you indicated that everybody sort of knows everybody there, right?
That's pretty much the case.
And the other thing that you told us about Wairika was that people know everybody else's business there, right?
Usually.
Right, and in fact, one of the examples that you gave us of where people in Wairika know what's going on was the example when you were 17 and you went to, or you skipped a class. Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
It was a history exam that you had to prepare for, right?
That's right.
And you indicated that you went somewhere in the car and you were studying, right?
Yes.
And while you were studying, your father found you, right?
Yes.
And one of the explanations or reasons that you gave for that was that Wairika is a very small town, right?
I don't remember giving that explanation because that's not why he found me.
Well, you indicated that you don't know how he found you, right?
I knew how he found me.
Well, that's not what you told us on direct examination.
Oh, I mean, I knew why he went to go looking for me. How he found me was he was just driving around. I'm sorry.
Ma'am, that's not what you told us on direct examination, right?
I don't remember. That's a fact.
Again, do you have problems remembering what you just told us less than a couple of weeks ago?
Occasionally, I guess.
And in this particular case, you're having trouble remembering what you told us as to how your father found you, right?
I'm having trouble with how you're characterizing it, I think.
Well, again, we're going to get into this word exchange issue, but my question to you is, do you remember telling us on direct examination that Wairika is a small town and that's part of the reason or how your father found you? Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
And so Wairika in 2008 is not much bigger than it was in 1997 or 1998 when this happened, right?
No, I think it's about 1,000 more in population.
Right. It's only 1,000 more in population. In other words, it's not a town that's exploding in terms of population, right?
Yes.
It is or it is not.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry.
And so that in people in Wairika, if somebody does something, more likely than not, they may end up meeting somebody that they know, right?
Overruled.
Yes.
So, for example, if you went to one of the two or either of the two car rental agencies that are there in Wairika, somebody may have been able to know or talk about it later if they were asked about it, correct?
Perhaps. People wouldn't know me, though, because I hadn't lived there for 10, 15 years.
But they may have, right?
Some. A few
Because
high school
again-
friends or something.
Again, it's not a very large town, right?
Yes.
And in fact, what's the population is what, 11,000?
I think it's 7,000.
7,000?
Something, yeah.
And you, at the time, back in June 2nd of 2008, you were working, right?
Yes.
And where you were in this town, there aren't that many bars, right?
I think there are like 5 or 6 bars.
Right. And there isn't one called Margaritaville, right?
No, there's not.
You worked at Casa Ramos, right?
Yes.
And you had some time off, didn't you?
Yes.
And this was going to be part of your vacation, right?
Road trip, yes.
The road trip was your vacation. One called going to be part of your vacation, right?
Road trip, yes.
The road trip was your vacation, right?
It was partially a vacation, partially a business trip.
And when you say partially business trip, what you're saying is, for example, that if you went to buy gas, that's something that could be deductible, correct?
If it was for the business purpose, yes, it would be deductible.
Sure. And in fact, since you were going to go to Utah, going to a gas station, it would make sense to save the receipts so that you could then deduct them from your income taxes, right?
That's right.
And in this particular case, wouldn't matter whether or not you paid cash or you paid with a credit card, right?
It wouldn't matter for tax purposes. no.
Right, as long as you had the receipts, right?
Yes.
And in this case, so you did pay at least attention to the receipts that you got, for example, from the gas station, right?
What do you mean by pay attention?
Kept them.
Yeah, I throwed everything in a shoebox.
Right, you threw everything in the shoebox, everything related to this trip, right?
Yes.
All of the receipts from this trip were thrown in this shoebox that we've seen previously, right?
No, probably not all, but just whatever was left over in my wallet.
Well, but you were trying to pay attention to keep the receipts that were related to a business expense, right?
Somewhat. I'm very disorganized, but that's kind of my effort, yeah.
Well, no, that's what you were attempting to do, right?
Yes.
And in fact, you did save some of the receipts involved with this particular trip, right?
Yes.
And so you're in Wairika and you decide instead to rent a car from Redding, California, right?
Yes.
And that's south of Wairika, correct?
Yes, on my way.
And it is on the way, but it is south, correct?
Yes.
And it's what, 90 miles away?
I think it's 99 miles.
So in terms of travel, we're talking about what? Close to 2 hours?
Maybe just under 2 hours, I think.
And on this particular day that you left, on June 2nd of 2008, you left the house around 5 o'clock in the morning, something like that, right?
Yeah, I think so. It was very early in the morning.
Well, you were at the Redding airport by 8 o'clock, weren't you?
Yes.
And so did you get there before 8 o'clock and just wait around, or did you get there at about the same, at that time?
I don't remember waiting. Well, I waited a little bit because there was a line, but not waiting for them to open.
And somebody was with you, correct?
Yes.
A guy was with you, right?
I can't remember if it was my brother's neighbor or my sister-in-law, but I think it was my sister-in-law. So either one of them dropped me off and picked me up, or vice versa.
So when you're saying that they dropped you off and picked you up, what you're saying is that they did not get out of the car that took you to the Redding airport, correct?
I don't remember.
You don't remember whether or not they went up to the counter with you?
I think I was alone.
So you were here when Mr. Colombo testified, correct, as to whether or not you were accompanied, correct?
Yes.
And so what time did you arrive at this would be your sister?
Colombo! That's how she got caught. That'd be great, wouldn't it? I would love to do a full rerun series where we could just interject Colombo into various of our favorite true crime situations, the big ones. Adelson case, Chris Watts, Jodi, Casey, just have fucking Peter Falk line them up, I really hope I have a dream about that one day, because I don't think it's ever going to reach production.
Sister's house, right?
Yes.
What time did you get there?
Before renting the car, you mean?
Yes. That was the only time that you got there, on June 2nd, correct?
No, I got there with the rental car afterward and
Pardon?
took a nap. No, I went back to our house.
All right, the first time before you rented the car.
In the morning. I don't remember the exact time.
So it would have been, and they knew you were coming, correct?
Yes.
And so they were ready to then take you down to the airport, right?
Yes.
And they dropped you off, and then you went.
And the thing about the gas cans, I mean, that's such a Columbo-esque thing that he would figure out, You said there were 3 gas cans, but you took one back to Walmart. I cannot do a Columbo accent.
To pick up the car, right?
I believe they did, yes.
And one of the things that happened is that you initially were given a car, or rented a car, by Mr. Colombo, correct?
Yes.
And the car that he offered you initially was red, right?
Yes.
And you told him that you didn't want the red car, right?
That's right.
And the reason that you told him that you didn't want the red car was because it would call attention to it would stand out more, correct?
No.
Well, didn't you tell him that you did want to exchange the car though, right?
Yes.
And you told him that red is a color that police officers sort of focus on. Do you remember telling him that? Is that yes or no?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think I worded it that way.
So you did give him a reason why you didn't want that car, right?
Yeah.
And part of it had to do with the color, right?
Yes.
You didn't want the color red,
Yes.
correct? The color red seems to stand out, doesn't it?
I don't know. I just heard they get more tickets.
Right. And so it had to do with the police department, right? You did not want to stand out, and that's why you wanted a different color, correct?
Not the police department because I'd be on the freeway. I just didn't want to get tickets, and I heard they get more tickets.
Who do you think gives traffic citations, ma'am?
On the freeways in California, it's the California Highway Patrol.
That's police, aren't they?
I don't think they're police. I think they're law enforcement, but not categorized as police, not to my knowledge anyway.
So if there's a crime, you're saying that the California Highway Patrol doesn't respond to them?
They respond, as well as maybe the sheriff's office or something. Depends on the district, I would imagine.
Right, and so you were afraid that police, whether it includes the California Highway Patrol or somebody driving down the street, that they would focus in on your car because you had heard that police get more tickets involving a red car, correct?
Afraid? No, I wasn't afraid. I just didn't want to shell out more money for tickets.
Right. So, afraid may not be the word that you like. What word would you like? Concerned?
I don't know. I guess.
No, you're the one that said afraid wasn't the right word. Why don't you tell me what word you would use in describing your reluctance in taking a red car?
It was motivated by financial frugality.
Well, you're telling us then that the red car was cheaper to rent than the white car.
No, in theory, I would be less likely to get...
Hey, thanks so much for the super chat, Chelsea Myers. Jodi was my first court TV trial I watched straight through. I think that's the same for many people, Chelsea. And, you know, someone was saying something about her being a legend or not really being a legend. I mean, in many ways, she is a legend. She certainly stands out. And she certainly has, you know, changed the playing field. And, you know, gotten a lot of people into law and thinking about the law and, you know, really, it's a landmark case. And the public attention it received at the time was incredible. And here we are, 17 years after her arrest, after the murder. And it's still a amazing trial to absorb.
Get a speeding ticket and shell out hundreds of dollars if I were not in a red car.
So what you're saying is the red car, in your view, because of the color, stands out more to police departments, whether they be California Highway Patrol, whether they be the Salinas Police Department, whether they be the Redding Police Department, right?
I'd be speculating, but I guess that's why they get more tickets. I don't know.
Well, no, I don't want you to guess because I want you to tell us what you were thinking at the time because you were the one that made this request involving the red car.
Well, my thought is that red cars, drivers of red cars tend to drive faster. They get more tickets. That's just what I've always been told.
Right. But that's what other drivers do. You supposedly were going to adhere to the speed limit or within 10 miles of it, right?
Usually, I tried.
Right, so if you do that, then you really shouldn't have too much of a concern about a traffic citation then, right?
That's not right. I've been cited before when the radar was off.
And how many times have you been cited for speeding, ma'am, when your speed was over 10 miles an hour, over the speed limit?
Several times.
Give me one time.
One time I was driving on Highway 1 south of Carmel, or just entering Carmel Highlands, and I was going, I think, 60-something in a 50, and I got pulled over, and he clocked me at, he said 79.
Let me stop you. You said you were going 60-something in a 50-mile-per-hour zone, right?
Yes.
That means you were going over the 10-mile issue that I just presented to you.
Yes.
So in other words, what I'm asking you, can you give me an example where you were driving either the speed limit or within 9 miles of the speed limit where you were given a ticket?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
We are going to take the noon recess at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, please be back in the designated area at 1:25. Please remember the admonition, you are excused.
Innocent. I'm innocent. I don't think I've ever seen a defendant witness stare at the jury like that. It's freaky. I mean, I guess, well, for one, she's getting all the information she can out of them, and two, she's hoping that they connect with, I'm young and I'm pretty and don't kill me.
Please be seated. The record will show the jury has left the courtroom. Miss Arias, you may step down. Counsel, is there anything else before lunch?
No, ruling on the objection.
Why don't you approach?
Oh, she loves to have them approach. You know, a case that I was looking into today was this Ruby Frank, that of course I heard about it all happening, but I knew no details at all. I didn't even really know what it was about. I just kind of avoided it. What the fuck? That's a crazy case. Crazy case.
When responding to questions, be sure that you let Mr. Martinez finish his question before you start to speak. The court reporter cannot take down two people at one time.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Defendant and all counsel. To sustain the last objection, Mr. Martinez, you may continue.
Ben, we were talking about the car rental in Redding, California, and you ultimately were given a second car, correct?
Yes.
And the color of this car was white, correct?
Yes.
And that was more to your liking because of this issue involving the traffic citations, correct?
Yes.
And this car had a capacity of over 12 gallons per tankful, correct?
It was 10 or 12. I don't remember.
Well, okay. Do you remember, this is Exhibit 237.018, do you remember filling up with gas in Winnemucca, Nevada?
I remember running out of gas in Nevada, and
When you say that you ran out of gas, there was absolutely no gas in your car, or you were just running low?
it was, the gas light was on, so.
When you say that the gas light was on, doesn't mean that you're not moving. It means that you are low on gasoline, correct?
Yeah, it was kind of below
Are you
the-
saying that that's where it happened in Winnemucca, Nevada?
No, I was probably, I think he said I was 15 or 20 miles from there.
And you were able to make it to Winnemucca, correct?
No, I pulled over.
And you pulled over and did what?
I went in and asked the guy where the nearest gas station is. He said it's about 15 miles. I think he said 15 miles further. I didn't think I would make it on E, so I went and started putting gas in the car, and he came out and assisted me.
And you were putting gas from what?
From one of the gas cans.
All right. And let's just take a look at this exhibit right here. And it indicates that it's your name, right?
Yes.
It's from Winnemucca, right?
Yes.
And it indicates that the amount that you purchased was 12.175 gallons, right?
Yes.
And you paid $49.91, correct?
That's right.
And this issue involving you running out of gas, that's not something that you told us on direct examination, correct? Yes or
No, I was not.
And so you have this car that has at least a capacity of 12 gallons, correct?
Objection, foundation.
Approach.
It is a ridiculous route she took. Did she incorporate Las Vegas into the murder trip to Utah? Because if not, just being in Winnemucca would be ridiculous.
Now, with regard to Winnemucca, you filled up your car with gas, didn't you?
Yes, I put gas in it.
All the way till it was full, right?
I probably, because I usually filled up until the
Yes or
nozzle
no?
clicked.
Yes or no? In Winnemucca, did you fill it up with gas?
I put gas in it. I probably filled it up.
So you're saying that you're not sure if you filled it up all the way with gas then, right?
That's right.
But you did make a purchase in Winnemucca pursuant to Exhibit 237.018, in which 12.175 gallons were purchased by you, right?
Yes.
And so it could be that the tank was 15 gallons of gas, right?
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled, you may answer.
Right?
That's possible.
But at least we know that this gas tank could hold at least 12.175 gallons of gas, right?
Right.
And before you went on this trip, it started on June 2nd of 2008, correct?
Yes.
Started around 5 o'clock in the morning, correct?
It was early in the mornings, around that time.
Because you were at Reading at 8 a.m., correct?
Yes.
Well, we saw the receipts. Were you here when the receipts were shown of you renting the car at approximately 8:01?
Yes, I was here.
And so if it takes you 1 to 2 hours to drive down there, that would mean you would have to get up pretty early, right?
Yes.
And so you got up pretty early, you drove down to Reading, but in anticipation of that, you actually called.
Actually, I guess Winnemucca would have been on her way back from Salt Lake to Northern California. I thought it was the other way around.
Somebody by the name of Daryl Brewer, right?
Yeah, and I'm sorry I didn't get up early. I was up all night, so.
Pardon?
You
Hey Lee, good to see you.
said I got up early. I just wanted to make that clear. I was up all night, so.
Okay, so what you're saying is you didn't sleep that night,
I
right?
didn't sleep that night, no.
Okay. So, but you did, in anticipation of this trip, contact an old boyfriend, right?
Yes,
And that would be Daryl Brewer, right?
yes.
You made a number of telephone calls to him, correct?
Probably.
And when you say probably, it means that you're not sure, right?
I'm not sure, no.
So you at least made 2 calls to him, though, right?
If that's what my phone records reflect, then that would be right.
Now I'm asking what your memory reflects.
I don't remember actually calling him before leaving on my trip. And
So you have no idea as to whether or not you even called them before you went on the trip then, right?
I don't recall. Well, of course I called him before the trip, but I don't know how soon before the trip.
So you don't remember whether or not it was in May then, is that what you're saying?
I did talk to him in May,
And it was toward the end of May, correct?
probably.
And when you keep saying probably, it means that you're not sure, but that you do not deny that you made a call, right?
That's right.
And so you made this call to him at the end of May, and you asked him whether or not he had any spare gas cans for you to use, right?
That sounds right.
No, I'm not asking what sounds right. Is that what you did?
I think I did, because he's the one I ended up borrowing them from.
Well, ma'am, are you having trouble again with your memory with regard to events then?
Yeah, because there were a few different,
So the answer is yes. You are having trouble with your memory.
with that question.
Well, are you having trouble? It's not the only question that you've had trouble with. Are you having trouble with the memory of the events leading up to your trip?
Leading up to, yeah, I probably
Okay.
a little bit.
And you would agree then that the events leading up to your trip were probably the end of May, and the murder was, or the killing was on June 4th of 2008. So are you saying that that whole period you're having problems with your memory? Or is it just the end of May?
Well, there are some things I recall and some things I don't.
So my question is, are you having trouble with both or just the end of May?
I'd say my whole life is like that, so both.
So you're saying that you're having trouble remembering everything or events throughout your life. Is that what you're saying?
Some things, not everything.
And sometimes you know what you can remember very well, and sometimes you can't. Is that what you're saying?
You mean can't at all or can't remember well?
Can't remember. Both well or at all?
Yeah,
You tell me.
all of the above.
And so at the end of May then, you're saying that you really don't remember whether or not you made a telephone call to Mr. Brewer. Is that what you're saying?
I don't remember specifically, but I know I called him at one point.
All right, and you did call him because you wanted to talk to him about some gas cans, right?
That wasn't the purpose of the call.
Well, that was what was discussed during that call, correct?
I think so, yes.
You're saying you think so? Yes, correct? That's
Yes.
what you're saying. And so one of the things that you told him in discussing these gas cans was that you were going to take a trip, right?
Yes,
And that the purpose for the gas cans was that you could put gas in them, right?
yes,
And the other thing that you told him was that the trip that you were going to make was going to be to Mesa, Arizona, right?
no,
You were here when he testified, correct?
yes,
And he's somebody that you've had I guess, a long-term relationship with, correct?
yes, about 4
Eh?
years.
Pardon?
About 4 years we were in a relationship.
Right? And then even after that, you have had, if not a close friendship, you've had a friendship after the two of you split, correct?
It was more distant, but it was still a friendship.
Sure. And in fact, you felt comfortable. You still remembered his number, right? Telephone number, right?
Yes.
And you felt comfortable enough to ask him for a favor, right?
Certain favors, yes.
Well, that particular favor, you felt comfortable in asking him for that, right?
Which one? The gas cans?
Well, which other favor are we talking about? Are there more than one favor here that we've talked about?
I want to know what you're talking about.
No, I'm asking you. Do you remember that we started talking about gas cans? Do you remember that?
Yes.
That we've talked of nothing else other than gas cans so far. Is there anything else that you believe that we've talked about?
I wasn't sure, that's why I asked.
Ma'am, is there anything else that we have talked about?
I'm not sure, that's why I asked.
I'm asking you, is there anything else that has been posed to you other?
I'm not sure that's why I asked.
Than this gas can issue involving Mr. Brewer?
Yes.
Objection, ask and answer badgering.
Sustained.
Now, you have this conversation with him involving the gas cans. It is more than one conversation, isn't it?
I don't remember.
And there could be more than one conversation, is what you're telling us, right?
Yes.
And are you saying you did not tell him that you were going to go to Mesa when you spoke to him?
That's right, I told him after.
I'm asking you, the question is this, isn't it true that before you went on the trip, you told him you were going to Mesa?
No, that is not true.
All right? Isn't it true that as part of one or another conversation that you had, you told him that you were going to go to Arizona to visit some friends?
No, I said Utah.
You didn't, I'm asking you whether or not it's true that you told him that you were going to Mesa to visit some friends before you took the trip.
No, I said Utah.
I'm not asking you what you said, am I?
Objection, Badger.
Overruled.
Yeah, I think you are.
You're thinking, my question to you is asking you what you told them? Is that what you think it is? Whether or not you told them that you were going to go to Utah? Do you think that that's what the question was?
No.
The question was, isn't it true, ma'am, that you discussed with Mr. Brewer before the trip that you took that you needed the gas cans to go and visit friends in Mesa, Arizona? What is your answer to that?
My answer is no, I told him Utah.
And I'm asking you whether or not you think I'm asking you what you told him. Am I?
God, she's fucking... I don't know, defiant? Crazy. One of a kind.
Asking you what you told him?
That's kind of my interpretation of it. It's a yes or no question.
It is a yes or no question, isn't it?
And I answered no 3 times, yes.
And you also added something 3 times, didn't you?
Yes, the truth.
Am I asking you whether you're telling the truth?
You have asked me that.
Am I asking you right now if you're telling the truth?
I don't know, are you?
Well, have you heard that question prior to you saying that?
Yes.
You heard that question immediately before I'm telling the truth. The prosecutor asking you if you were telling the truth, you heard the prosecutor say that.
Not immediately.
Pardon?
Not immediately.
So the answer is yes or no. Did you hear the question immediately before you gave the answer that you were telling the truth?
No, not immediately.
So you did have these conversations with Mr. Brewer and you decided to get the gas cans. Why don't you just go and buy some gas cans?
They were expensive.
And when you say they were expensive, how much is a gas can?
I don't remember, but it wasn't in my budget for my travels.
And you wanted 2 of them, right?
I don't know, I guess whatever you had.
So if you would have had 6, you would have taken 6?
No, they wouldn't have fit.
And these gas cans, when you picked them up, where did you put them?
In the trunk.
In the back?
Yes.
So you rented this car, and this car had some floor mats, correct?
No, it did not.
So then you get into this car, and you pick it up, you go back to sleep, right?
Yes, back at my brother's house.
I didn't ask you where, did I?
No.
I asked you if you went back to sleep, right?
Yes.
So you went back to sleep, and at some point, you then started to go on your trip for reals, right?
Okay, yeah.
All right, and about what time was that?
I want to say late morning, but I'm not too sure.
And you then drove south till you got to the Monterey, California area, correct?
I stopped again and slept, and then continued driving south.
What did you say?
I stopped again and slept, and then I continued driving south.
Did anybody ask you whether or not you slept?
Well, you just asked me.
I asked you whether or not you slept. Is that what my question was?
Yes, you asked if I went to sleep.
No, I asked you when you started your trip, did you make it to Monterey, California? Do you remember me asking you that?
I remember you asking something like that, but not worded that way.
When you say something like that, again, it seems that you have a problem with your memory. Do you have a problem with your memory today?
Not in this particular case.
Okay, so after you woke up, after sleeping at your sister's house, did you begin your trip?
Yes.
And did you eventually make it to the Monterey, California area?
Yes.
And what time did you get there?
It was very, very late. I think it was even the 3rd in the morning because we had stopped in Santa Cruz first.
So you got there on the 3rd, you believe, but in any event, it was late, correct?
Yeah, it was past midnight, I think, by the time we got to Monterey.
And so in terms of miles, how many miles are we talking about?
From where to where?
From the place that you left your sister to Monterey, wherever it is that you went, and you arrived around midnight or after, or in the early morning hours of June 3rd.
Well, I'm not particularly sure. I'd say somewhere in the ballpark of 500 miles.
And so,
I know more by hours, not miles.
okay, how many hours then?
From...
I It's not 500 fucking miles. You know? I don't think the whole of California is 500 miles from north to south. Is it?
Reading to Santa Cruz, it was approximately 6.5 to 7 hours.
And in Santa Cruz, did you meet anybody?
Yes,
And that's where you met Mr. McCartney, correct?
yes, and his roommate.
And did I ask you again if you met his
Oh, did she say... I thought it was Monterey.
roommate?
You asked if I met anybody.
No, I asked you if you met Mr. McCartney. Do you remember that question?
Yes, and I answered yes.
And so you met Mr. McCartney, and you spent the night at a place where he was living, right?
Yes.
And what time did you get up the next morning?
I don't remember, but
Okay. Well, California is 760 miles from the northern border to the southern border, which is more than I thought. Okay.
would have been in the morning.
I understand it was the morning. Would it have been really early, or would it not be so early in the morning?
It would have been before Jack had to go to school, so whatever time that was, it couldn't have been too late.
What time did Jack have to go to school?
I don't remember.
And so, did you have plans already to meet up with Mr. McCartney, or is it a situation where you got on the phone on the road, called him up, and said, hey, I'm coming down there, can we meet?
It was definitely beforehand because I was going to crash there.
So, when did you speak to him beforehand? Was it a week or so before? Was it days before you left? What was it?
I don't know. We spoke here and there. I don't know.
All right, and did Mr. McCartney go with you the next morning to meet with Mr. Brewer?
No.
So you did go over to Mr. Brewer's house, and one of the reasons that you went over was to talk to or see Jack, the son, right?
That was one of the reasons.
And you also had breakfast there, correct?
Yes.
And you also checked your email there, correct?
I think it was my MySpace
Pardon?
email. Yeah, what was my MySpace account?
Well, when you say that you checked your MySpace account, is your email included in the MySpace account?
There is an email system, but not my main email.
I'm asking if you checked when you checked your MySpace account, did you check any email in the MySpace account?
I don't remember.
Did you check, you mentioned that you had another email system. Did you check that other email system?
I don't remember. Probably not. I think it was just MySpace.
And what was the purpose for checking that, the MySpace account?
Hadn't done it in a few days, so.
And so you check that, and then at some point, you get some gas cans, right?
Yes.
And when in this whole sequence of events do you get the gas cans?
Sometime while I was visiting with him. I don't remember how it happened.
Was it before or after Jack left for school?
I don't remember.
And what color were the gas cans?
They were red
And where did you put them?
in the trunk.
And that would be in the back, correct?
Yes.
Where was your luggage?
In the trunk.
Same place with the same area as the gas cans?
Yes.
And how much time do you spend there with Mr. Brewer?
I don't know. I think it was somewhere like a half hour, it felt like. I don't really remember.
And then you leave, right?
Yes.
But you come back again, right?
Yes.
To return a remote, right?
Right.
What kind of remote are you returning?
It was for either his TV or his DVD player, I think.
How is it that it found its way into your car?
I don't know. I think that it
Well,
was...
don't speculate. You don't know, right?
No, it was already with him. I drove away with it on accident. I don't know how I got it.
All right. And then after you returned it, you drove to Salinas, right?
Yes.
And in Salinas, you did a number of things, right?
Not really. I just did a few things.
Pardon?
I just did a few things.
Right. You did your nails, right?
Yes.
And you said it took quite a while, right?
I had to wait for a while. Yes.
In other words, the doing of the nails didn't take a long time. The fact that you probably didn't have an appointment is what took some time, right?
Yes. There are no appointments there.
And then you left Salinas and continued your trip, right? And this would be on the 3rd, right?
That's correct.
About what time was it?
I gotta show you guys this. I was just checking out some pictures of Monterey, California, and this just came up. Hang on. Wow. Aren't they great? I think we should call them Isom and Everett. Isom and Everett, the sea lions of justice. Fantastic. What a cool animal. Isom and Everett.
It was afternoon, but I don't know what time.
You told us about the gas cans from Mr. Brewer, right?
That's right.
But you forgot to tell us something else, didn't you?
You haven't asked me yet.
Well, isn't it true that there was more than 2 gas cans involved in it, right?
Yes.
And you testified on direct examination involving the gas cans, didn't you?
Yes.
And you never testified about a 3rd gas can, did you?
No.
And this 3rd gas can, you actually bought it in Salinas, didn't you?
Yes.
And you bought it from Walmart, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And not only do you have 2 5-gallon gas cans, you have another gas can. How many? What's the capacity of this one?
It was the same size. No, I think it was, I don't know, it was the same size, I think.
You think it was, so now you have a capacity of 15 gallons, right?
At that moment, I did.
Well, you're saying like at that moment. Did the size of these gas cans change so that it would go from a 15-gallon capacity down to a lesser capacity?
I sustain the objection.
With regard to, you keep saying that at that point you had that capacity. Was there something involving these gas cans that would not allow you to fill them up to their capacity later on?
Yes, there was.
And what is that?
I returned the gas can.
You returned it back, right?
Yes.
So that you now have a capacity of still 10 gallons, right?
Yes.
Maximum, right?
Yes.
So then why is it, ma'am, that when you go to the Arco, you fill up with gas, you remember that?
Yes.
And then you go inside and exhibit number 237.012, do you see that there?
Yes.
That's a capacity of 10 gallons, right? Or approximately, it's 9.5494 gallons, right?
Yes.
And then 237.013, it's 2.77 gallons, right?
Where does it say that? Oh, yeah, I see that.
So you're saying that these gas cans then have a larger capacity now?
I don't know what the capacity was.
Well, you remember Mr. Brewer saying they were 5-gallon gas cans, right?
I don't know if he said that or not.
You were here when he testified, right?
I was physically here, yes. Sometimes I space out.
Pardon?
I was physically here, yes. Sometimes I space out.
And so you're saying that throughout the trial you may have spaced out and not paid attention to what's going on?
During other people's testimony, sometimes my mind wanders.
So the answer is yes.
Yes.
And you don't remember then specifically what Mr. Brewer may have said. Is that what you're saying?
I remember some things he said. Almost all.
But not everything.
Not every single thing.
Well, 237.011. Do you see that it says Arco and it's in Pasadena?
Yes.
Do you see the address there?
Yes.
What's the address? Read it for me.
3706 East Foothill Boulevard.
And the city and state?
Pasadena, California, 92553.
And it does talk about a debit account. You see that?
Yes.
Talks about a date of June 3rd, 2008, right?
Yes.
And a time of 8:42 p.m., right?
Yes.
And then it talks about being at pump number 2. Do you see that?
Yes.
And then it talks about the amount of gallons that are involved, right?
Yes.
8.301 gallons. And there's the price there, right?
Yes.
That is for you filling up the car, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, you were there though, right?
Yes.
And this is first in the sequence at 8:42 p.m., right?
Yes.
And you don't know whether or not this is part of filling up the car with gas then?
I don't remember what order I filled
All
out.
right, well, you remember that we were talking about 2 5-gallon gas cans, right?
Yes.
5 plus 5 is 10, right?
That's right.
This is 8.301. Do you see that?
Yes.
So this is not the capacity, if you will, of the up to 10 gallons for those 2 gas cans, correct?
It has that capacity, so that's not correct. It's not the maximum capacity.
No, it isn't, right? So
That's
there's no
right.
reason to believe that this could be the gas cans. If you're going to take these gas cans, presumably you're going to fill them up to the top, right?
Objections, presuming something is not in evidence.
Restate your question.
You were taking those gas cans for a reason, right?
Yes.
And that was to have extra gas, right?
Originally it was...
Yes
so
or
that
no? Was it to have extra gas available to you?
At one point, yes. At another point, no.
Well, and if you want to have extra gas available to you, don't you want to have the maximum amount?
I guess.
Well, no, you were driving. You're the one that asked to borrow these gas cans. If you have 5, let's just say 10 gallons of space available, and you want to make sure that you have enough gas, wouldn't you fill it up to approximately 10 gallons?
Objection, what's the relevance of this? It's 8.3 gallons.
I don't know.
Ma'am, what's going on is that Exhibit 237.001 is you filling up that Ford Focus with gas, isn't it?
I don't remember what order I filled it.
And this was at 8:42 p.m., right?
Yes.
And you went and you pumped your own gas, didn't you?
Yes.
And then and you paid with a debit card. Do you see that?
Yes.
You had a MasterCard back then, right?
I don't remember what it was, MasterCard or Visa.
But you paid for that with a credit card or Visa or MasterCard, whatever it was, right?
Yes.
With regard to the gas that you purchased inside, which is 237.012, you paid cash, right?
That's right.
And cash is harder to track in terms of sales than a credit transaction. Wouldn't you agree?
Not if you save the receipt.
Not if you save your receipt. What if you don't save your receipt, ma'am? Wouldn't you agree that a cash transaction is harder to keep track of than a credit transaction?
Yes, I would agree with that.
And in this case, you initially said, I want to pay $40, right?
Yes.
And then it's the amount of gallons that you got for that was 9.594 gallons, correct?
Yes.
And that was the $40, right?
Yes.
Do you see the time there?
That would be 10:53.
Well, how about 8:46:50? If you see the 20:46:50, wouldn't that be 8:46:50?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That's correct.
And that is 4 minutes after the transaction and 237.001. Do you see that?
Yes. Wait, what was the other time? I'm sorry.
There's 8:42.
Okay.
You see that?
Yes.
8:46:50. Do you see that?
Yes. I was sorry, I was looking at the other time on the top.
Do you see that right there?
Yes.
It's 8:46:50, right?
Okay.
So that's 4 minutes after the transaction. That's the debit transaction, right?
Yes.
And then you have 237.013. It's the same article, right?
Yes.
And this one is at what time?
This one is at, what time was it?
How about 8:53?
53, yes.
And that's 5 minutes later than the transaction involving the approximately 10 gallons of gas, right?
Yes.
And during that time, that 5 minutes, that would allow you to go from the inside out to your car again, wouldn't it? 5
Yes.
minutes. It was that close, correct?
Yes.
And the time span between Exhibit 237.001, which is 8:42, to the next one, which is 8:46, which is 4 minutes, that would give you time to go back between the car and the register or inside the store, correct?
Yes.
And so now, we know that at that particular gas station, you spent 237.011, I'm sorry. It's $35 there, right?
Yes.
And 6 cents, but let's leave the cents aside. And 237.012, that's $40. So far you spent $75 in gas, right?
Yes.
And then if you add from 237.013, if you add 9, because we're rounding up, you're now talking $84 in gas that you spent, right?
I don't know, I'm not good at math, but okay.
Assuming the math is correct.
Assuming the math is correct.
It's between $80 and $84 in gas that you spent, correct?
Yes.
And so you've now driven all the way down there, and one of the reasons that you told us on direct examination that you wanted these gas cans was that gas was cheaper in Arizona and Utah. Do you remember telling us that on direct?
No, I said Nevada and Utah.
All right, gas is cheaper in Nevada and Utah, right?
Yes.
You weren't filling up in Nevada or Utah, were you?
No.
You were filling up in California, right?
Yes.
Where the gas is as expensive there as it is probably throughout the state, right?
No.
Or well, it was expensive in California, isn't it?
More than Nevada and Utah, yes.
And so you had actually, and California is kind of a progressive state in the sense that it has gas stations almost everywhere, doesn't it?
Objection, foundation, relevance.
Restate your question.
On your travels on that date, you went from the Monterey area down to Salinas. Any trouble seeing any gas stations there?
No.
From Salinas all the way down to Pasadena. Any problem seeing any gas stations there?
No.
So it seems that your fears about gas in California were not well founded then, right? There was gas in places that you were traveling in California, right?
I didn't have any fears in California of that, so no.
You had fears somewhere else, correct?
Yes.
Arizona, for example, right?
No.
Well, you did end up going through Arizona, right?
Yes, I did.
And so, presumably, is that where the fears were, in Arizona?
No, I'd driven that highway many times. I knew where the gas stations were there.
So you didn't really have a need for gas if you're going to drive through Arizona then, right?
No, that's right, yes.
Pardon?
That's right.
And you were telling us, though, that approximately every 150 to 170 miles, your car was running out of gas. Do you remember telling us that?
150 to 170 miles?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't remember saying that.
Well, do you remember that you said that you had problems with that your Ford Focus had problems with gas, that it was using too much gas on direct examination?
I remember running out quickly, yes.
Well, you told us that this car, the Ford Focus, was using an inordinate amount of gas, correct?
No, that wasn't my thought.
Well,
It ran out of gas quickly.
you told us that from Pasadena, then you filled up at Desert Center, right?
Yes.
That's approximately 170 miles down the road, right?
I don't know.
Well, you drove it.
It sounds right.
Objection, foundation, she asked, man.
Sustain, ask another question.
And after that, you then said that you drove out to Buckeye and you filled up there, right?
Yes.
That's approximately another 170 miles, right?
Objection, foundation.
Gay gas stations. I must have missed that, Maria. Hey, that could be a whole new, side to the market. It's brilliant.
Overruled.
I guess.
Well, you did drive that, though. You
Yes,
did
I
tell
did.
us that, right?
Yes.
And you told us that both of those times you filled up, right?
Yes.
And you filled that car up with 12 gallons of gas approximately every time, right?
Whatever it would have been, I filled up, I think.
Well, if you were running low, we've already seen the capacity, then it would be approximately 12 gallons, wouldn't it?
Yes, I guess.
Sustained.
Ma'am, you said that you filled up in Winnemucca, right? And your car was low, ran out of gas, right?
It did not run out of gas. I was low.
This is such an awkward place to stop in the middle of the gas station story, but I think we might have to. God. See if there's a sidebar or something in the next 3 minutes.
Oh, so it didn't run out of gas, and yet you were able to put over 12 gallons worth of gas in Winnemucca, correct?
That's correct.
And so if you are running low on gas in Desert Center, that would mean that you would put approximately 12 gallons worth of gas, right?
Approximately.
And then from that point over to Buckeye, you said you put gas into the car again, right?
Yes, I did.
So that would mean that you would put another 12 gallons worth of gas in the car if it was running low, based on the previous computations.
Overruled. You may answer.
If you base it on those computations, but I stopped in Buckeye because the Shell station there always had cheap gas.
I'm not asking you whether or not it had cheap gas, right? Am I?
No.
Do you remember that on direct examination, the way you prefaced this was that, this car used an inordinate or a lot of gas. Do you remember telling us that portion?
Yes.
And that as a consequence of that, do you remember telling us that you stopped at Desert Center, right? And
Yes,
put gas in it.
I did.
And then you also said, and because of this problem that it was running low on gas, you also stopped in Buckeye, right? You told us that,
Yes,
right?
I did.
So if this car is running low on gas, that means that it's close to empty, right?
Yes.
And so that would mean that if it's close to empty, it would be around 12 gallons that you put at Desert Center inside the car tank, right?
Approximately.
Approximately. And then it would be another 12 gallons worth of gas there at Buckeye, right?
Presumably, yes.
Well, given the computations that we have going. And then you made your way over to Mesa, right?
Yes, I did.
And how long did it take you to get to Mesa?
That hour of the morning, not long because there was no traffic.
And how much gas did you use?
I don't know.
And all the while you have these gas cans full of gas, right?
Yes, I did.
And because you filled up in Pasadena, correct?
Yes.
And where did you put these gas cans?
They were in my trunk.
And again, in the back part of the trunk?
Yes.
And you maintain that this third gas can, that you did not have a third gas can then, right?
No, not at that time.
When you keep saying that at that time, I'm asking after Salinas, you did not have that gas can, right?
That's correct.
Take a look at 237.008. Do you see that?
If anyone wants a reference, Desert Center is about 170 miles from Buckeye. So less than half the capacity of what a Ford Focus tank would hold.
Do you see the receipt?
Yes.
And at the very bottom it says 5G. That actually means 5 gallons, right?
Yes.
Caro Carb is the type of gas can, correct?
Yes.
And it's 1296, right?
Yes.
Ma'am, at the time that you bought it, one of the things that you were telling us was that you were very financially strapped, for lack of a better phrase, right?
That's right.
So if you want to save on gas, which is on the price of gas, which is what you say is your ultimate goal, right?
At the time that I wanted gas cans, that was my ultimate goal.
Right. So that was your ultimate goal at the time that you talked to Mr. Brewer, right?
That's correct.
So if you want to save on gas, why is it then that you're willing to pay $13 for a gas can, which would increase, if you will, the price of travel
Well,
by $13?
that wasn't a calculation that I made when I bought it. That's why I returned it.
Do you have the receipt that you took it back?
I didn't get a receipt.
So Walmart did not give you any documentation whatsoever when you took that gas can back?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm asking you just whether, I just want to be as clear as we can about this. You believe that when you took that gas can back, Walmart did not give you any written document evidencing that or showing that?
I don't recall having to fill anything out or any documents regarding that, no.
You weren't even given a printout or anything at all, right?
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying I don't remember.
And you would agree, though, that if you bought the gas can and it was approximately $13, it would not make any financial sense if you were looking to save for gas, correct?
I do agree with that.
And the other thing is, if you're looking to save for gas and you're trying to do this, wouldn't it have made more sense to have filled up in Pasadena, then driven up to Nevada, if that's where you were going, and once you get to Nevada, fill up the gas cans? Wouldn't it have made more sense then?
Yes, it would have if that were my goal.
Well, your goal at that time when you were filling up was to travel up to Utah, didn't you tell us that?
Yes.
So you didn't do that though, right?
I did not end up going directly to Utah.
I love how a lot of the time Juan Martinez acts like he's really trying to understand her story. It was good. Should we leave it there? What time is it? 6:37. Okay, we'll go to 6:40.
I'm not saying whether or not you ended up going directly to Utah. At the time that you filled up these cans, your plans were to go to Utah, weren't they?
Yes.
Because of the time on there, correct?
Yes.
Previously, you had told us that you didn't speak to Mr. Alexander until after that, right?
That's right.
In fact, you were at getting some coffee or something, right? At Starbucks, something like that. Or some drink at Starbucks, correct?
Yeah, strawberry drink.
Right, at Starbucks, right?
Yes.
And so, if you are going to go from Pasadena to Nevada, you can make it on a tank of gas, can't you? Overruled.
I've never driven that freeway, so, I mean, this is the USA, so I would guess yes, but I've never driven that road, especially not at night. So.
You didn't think that perhaps all that way from Pasadena to Las Vegas there wouldn't be a gas station? Did you believe that that was the case?
No, I didn't believe that was the case.
So if you really are trying to save on gas, you would have continued driving through California and filling up in California until you got to Nevada, and then you would have been able to purchase the cheaper gas, right?
That was a long question. I'm sorry, will you say it again?
Well, it would have made more financial sense for you to keep driving from Pasadena northbound, northeastbound, until you got closer to the border, right?
That's right.
And then when you got to Nevada, then it would have made more sense to fill the gas cans, right?
Financially, yes.
And that was your goal, correct?
At the time I got the gas cans, that was my goal.
Your goal changed, apparently, is what you're saying, right?
I still wanted to save gas, but my priority changed.
Okay, and so with regard to exhibit number 237.012, this is the one that's approximately 10 gallons. And then 237.013, it's approximately 2.7 gallons. You see that?
Yes.
You were the person that actually put the gas into the gas can.
Okay, boys and girls, tomorrow we're going to have more fun with gas station receipts. What could be more thrilling? No, it is good. It's a great bit of evidence. And he's right, you know. Receipts, especially when they show volume. I mean, there's so much, right? Volume, cost, payment method, date, time, location, clerk, register, corresponding to CCTV. Well, not in this case, I don't think, but, you know, I mean, what an amazing thing, a receipt. Show me your receipts. It's still yesterday in Montana. Oh, man. Is it? Almost. Yeah. Well, you can join us in a couple of days. Which will be tomorrow. Or later this afternoon for me. Yeah. Cassandra Perez says she really hates that Martinez is connecting the dots. I really appreciate this portion of the cross. It's excellent. It's excellent. But we're going to have to continue tomorrow, guys. Okay, thank you, everybody. Have a great evening, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
That's right?
That's right.
And you know that the